In the year 2326, the Samhan Empire's Mount Seol AK frontline base stood as a beacon of quiet grandeur. "Catch him," desperate voices cried, their panicked pursuit echoing through the rustling forest. Kim Tae-ju gasped for air, his mind a whirlwind of confusion, desperately wondering what crime he had committed. His labored breaths burned as a single, agonizing question hammered through his thoughts: why was he their target? "Stop right there, Kim Tae-ju," a voice commanded, just as a crushing impact slammed into his back. A blinding energy burst ripped through the air, stealing his breath. Second Lieutenant Kim Tae-ju crumpled, a searing pain clutching his heart once more, a grim familiar torment. "Doesn't running trigger your seizures again?" First Lieutenant Jang In-dong's cruel words cut through his pain. First Lieutenant Jang In-dong, platoon leader, reveled in his superiority, branding Kim Tae-ju a dying mana reject. Jang In-dong's voice, sharp as the wind, sealed his fate. "Your little escape is over, Second Lieutenant Kim Tae-ju." A raw sob tore from his throat. "Why are you doing this to me?" Jang In-dong's reply was a cold, sneering judgment: "If you're a reject, you should have died like the trash you are long ago." A sudden clang of steel pierced the air as Jang In-dong demanded, "Why survive until 29 and get on her nerves?" His mind raced, a chilling connection forming. "Are you talking about Honda Mitsui?" Jang In-dong's voice dropped to a menacing hiss. "Even if she's your stepmother, she's still your mother. Watch your mouth." A violent, whistling strike cleaved the air towards him. Pure, unadulterated terror seized his core. A chilling, flat command was his final notice: die. A sickening clang confirmed the blade's brutal penetration. A desperate scream tore through the air as he plummeted from the precipice, his world ending. With a cruel smile, Jang In-dong unveiled the sordid truth: Lady Mitsui's sons would inherit the Paiyu territory. His fall was sealed by a distant, echoing goodbye, and the heavy thud of oblivion. 300 years earlier, in 2026, the world knew only the peaceful, bustling rhythm of an ordinary day. But then the sun was cruelly devoured, a premonition of unimaginable power descending. From the heavens, a new cosmic energy, mana, crashed violently upon the unsuspecting earth. A deafening crash echoed across the globe as mana's arrival annihilated 90% of humanity. The very climate twisted, cities crumbled, and civilization itself vanished into desolate ruin. 3 centuries passed, and in 2326, humanity had resiliently adapted to mana, rebuilding their world anew. Yet new threats emerged. Mana beasts and poisonous plants ignited a perilous new war. As the war stretched on, society stratified into a rigid caste system based solely on mana aptitude. The imposing footsteps of Brigadier General Kim Wongbang, a master awakened, heralded his powerful presence. Despite being the eldest, Kim Tae-ju carried the crushing burden of being a mana reject, slowly dying and despised. A peculiar chime echoed in the surreal void. As Kim Tae-ju wryly observed, this was certainly no heaven. His clan's familiar architecture twisted into bizarre, floating structures amidst an incomprehensible cosmic haze. Amidst the strangeness, a calm voice inquired, "Do you happen to know?" A deep hum reverberated as his form revealed a glowing, impossible wound in his back. A low groan escaped him as the unbelievable question formed: was he not dead? With measured footsteps, the wise figure traversed the majestic, floating realm. A command, resonating with a gentle hum, lifted Kim Tae-ju into a rising, verdant embrace. A jolt of mutual surprise electrified their shared space. This was Tang Gun AK, the formidable supreme poison demon, patriarch of the Sichuan Tang clan, pinnacle of poison and hidden weapons. When the demonic cult threatened to engulf the Jianghu, a fiery force rose to dominate. With a singular burst of poison, he melted the heavenly demon, displaying unparalleled mastery. He became the absolute master of Murim, and with a deep rumble, revealed himself to share Kim Tae-ju's very soul. In his twilight years, a serene flow of energy guided his cultivation toward ascension. A gentle rustle marked the mystical moment their souls intertwined. As recognition dawned, a sweeping rush of memories and knowledge surged into Kim Taeju's mind. Kim Taeju's mind reeled with the impossible question, Tang Gun-ak, you are me? Tang Gun-ak's expression held a knowing gaze as he absorbed these new memories. Tang Gun-ak acknowledged Kim Taeju, his soul's earth counterpart, and the potential he had endured. His entire life, Tang Gun-ak explained, had been weighed down by the oppressive shackles of being a reject. A sudden, clear understanding settled upon him. A gentle plink of realization confirmed this ethereal place was their shared mindscape. With a crackling flow of energy, Tang Gun-ak declared their unity, pouring his complete knowledge into Kim Taeju. He was commanded to cultivate with this profound understanding. A burst of realization struck, he, too, could become his world's supreme master. A powerful cascade of energy empowered him, live your life however you desire. I wish you luck in battle, Kim Taeju, Tang Gun-ak's final words echoed. He awoke with ragged gasps, the shocking truth echoing, it hadn't been a dream. Still panting from the fall, the profound realization settled, all of Tang Gun-ak's knowledge remained within him. A pained groan escaped him, igniting a desperate resolve to survive this moment. His path became clear, master the formless primordial poison spirit art, the very technique that turned poison into power. A grim opportunity presented itself, poisonous plants, ready to be seized, lay scattered all around him. A wrenching crunch and violent shiver racked his body. A painful crunch as he forced the bitter truth down, he had to survive. A deep hum of energy pulsed as he envisioned converting the poison into a core of internal power, a poison essence. A resounding clash declared his intent, to sever his fate as a reject and reconstruct his very being. His teeth ground with fierce resolve, he would survive, and then he would make them all pay, starting with Jang Yindong. Under a tense and mysterious moon, a terse command cut through the falling leaves, confirm the corpse now, and hurry. Flashlights sliced through the tense, searching darkness as soldiers scoured the dense forest, one voice questioning what they sought. First Lieutenant Jang Yindong's impatience snapped, demanding why a simple corpse took so long, before an unseen soldier's frantic cry shattered the night, found him. It's Kim Taeju. First Lieutenant Jang Yindong scoffed, thinking he had found his prey, only for a soldier's stunned cry to pierce the mystical air, why is he still alive? An unsettling, mystical power surged as Kim Taeju's emerald aura intensified, prompting a soldier to note its strange, charged presence. Unbeknownst to First Lieutenant Jang Yindong, who mistakenly perceived it as mere mana, Taeju sat in powerful, meditative focus, accumulating a potent internal energy forged from pure poison essence. First Lieutenant Jang Yindong's voice, laced with furious scorn, demanded how a mere rejecter could possibly possess such power, and then, with hostile urgency, ordered his immediate execution. The silent glint of a sheathed sword presaged a swift, impending attack as a soldier lunged forward through the tense, green-lit air. In a moment of intense internal process, Kim Taeju's closed eye remained serene, a profound calm before the impending storm. Suddenly, a gleam of sharp, energized steel flashed into existence, ready for rapid and dynamic deployment. With a decisive flick, Kim Taeju's eye snapped open, now sharp with an intense, focused determination. The unexpected precision of Kim Taeju's counterattack sent one soldier reeling, a dagger embedded, while a wave of green energy jolted another. First Lieutenant Jang Yindong and his two subordinates recoiled, their faces etched with shock and disbelief at the sudden, impossible turn of events. Kim Taeju, staring at the swirling green energy now emanating from his palm, wondered aloud if this potent force was truly internal energy. A surge of absolute confidence coursed through him as Kim Taeju's fist clenched, glowing with power, knowing that with this, he could do anything. Surrounded by the poised, attacking soldiers, Kim Taeju declared his unwavering resolve to use his new power to exact retribution for every wrong they had committed. Standing amidst the green glow of his power, Kim Taeju's confident smirk announced a chilling reunion. First Lieutenant Jang Yindong scoffed, his expression mocking Kim Tae-ju's relaxed demeanor and taunting him about his supposed belated awakening without the requisite marking. Kim Tae-ju's eyes briefly closed in thoughtful contemplation, pondering the true meaning of awakening, as Jang In-dong's words echoed. The world recognized a strict hierarchy for awakeners, ranging from the highest master, distinguished by a unique marking, down through experts, regulars, beginners, and finally, users. Jang In-dong, merely a beginner in this system, was, in Murim terms, an unremarkable third-rate martial artist, truly nothing special. Kim Tae-ju's cutting question, "Are you done with your last words?" ignited First Lieutenant Jang In-dong's fury, who exploded in outrage at the audacity. With a sudden surge of green energy, Kim Tae-ju launched himself forward, declaring his intent to repay everything they had inflicted upon him, back in full. A soldier's mocking voice asked if Kim Tae-ju had hit his head, dismissing him even as he and 3 others surrounded their target, preparing to strike. Attack! First Lieutenant Jang In-dong roared, initiating a chaotic assault as Kim Tae-ju, ablaze with green energy, charged headlong into the fray. Despite this being his inaugural battle in his new body, an unnerving calm settled over Kim Tae-ju's clenched fist, its emerald glow hinting at the source of his composure. He reasoned that this surprising tranquility must stem from Tang Gun-ake's memories, now intrinsically woven into his very being. Though Manhwa had spurned him, the path of the poison demon, an inherited legacy of profound power, lived within his very core. With his eye burning a fierce emerald, Kim Tae-ju affirmed his potent confidence in his capabilities. With breathtaking speed, Kim Tae-ju executed the flying dagger art swift strike and the phantom mirage steps, a blur of green energy leaving his attacker stunned. Mid-air, Kim Tae-ju unleashed a flurry of green energy attacks, sending soldiers flying backward in explosive chaos. One soldier was violently propelled backward, his face contorted in a visceral mask of shock and pain. Kim Tae-ju unleashed a devastating blood seal poison palm, striking a soldier with a powerful burst of green energy. His hands curled into a claw-like shape, glowing with an intense, swirling green energy, ready to strike. Kim Tae-ju repelled multiple attacking soldiers simultaneously with a powerful, explosive blast of green energy. A soldier's wide, fearful eye reflected the terrifying, oncoming rush of green energy, anticipating its painful impact. A soldier cried out in alarm, recognizing that his platoon leader was in imminent danger. "Die!" the soldier with the beret roared, aiming his futuristic gun with grim determination. From behind the barrel of the aiming gun, Kim Tae-ju's green glowing head remained the clear, distant target. With a decisive impact, a blast of green energy intercepted and deflected the soldier's shot, preventing its deadly trajectory. Kim Tae-ju stood triumphant, radiating intense green energy over the crumpled forms of his defeated attackers. With a dismissive smirk and a glow in his eye, Kim Tae-ju declared their efforts too slow. His boots crunched deliberately on the forest floor, marking his steady advance towards his ultimate target. First Lieutenant Jang In-dong, writhing in agony on the ground, demanded to know what Kim Tae-ju had done to him. With a grim intensity, Kim Tae-ju revealed the chilling truth: even awakeners were utterly powerless against his poison. In pain and confusion, First Lieutenant Jang In-dong trembled, black liquid oozing from his face, questioning how Kim Tae-ju could use a skill without a visible tattoo. Kim Tae-ju mocked Jang In-dong's limited understanding of true power, then asked, with chilling satisfaction, how it felt to finally be on the receiving end. His smirking eye conveyed a cruel satisfaction as he sarcastically noted the awful pain his tormentor now endured. Consumed by fear and excruciating pain, First Lieutenant Jang In-dong pathetically pleaded with Kim Tae-ju to spare his life. Kim Tae-ju's hand clamped firmly on First Lieutenant Jang In-dong's collar, a decisive gesture signaling the end. First Lieutenant Jang In-dong's face, contorted in terror, unleashed a raw, guttural cry of agony. Kim Tae-ju lifted the struggling First Lieutenant Jang In-dong off the ground, who choked and gagged as the poison ravaged his body. Hanging upside down, First Lieutenant Jang In-dong desperately invoked powerful connections, threatening Kim Tae-ju by revealing who backed him. As First Lieutenant Jang In-dong stammered a final, desperate mention of Lady Mitsui, Kim Tae-ju's hand crushed his head, consuming him in a violent, agonizing demise of black liquid and green energy. Kim Tae-ju's eye burned with cold, green intensity, surrounded by the splattering black aftermath of his lethal power. Standing dominant, splattered with black liquid, Kim Tae-ju radiated immense green energy over the defeated soldiers. A satisfied, menacing chuckle escaped Kim Tae-ju's lips, a quiet sound of ultimate victory. With a confident smirk and glowing green eyes, Kim Tae-ju declared he had no intention of going down quietly. The vast Samhan Empire, a colossal nation born from the Manna Cataclysm, integrated the former territories of Korea, China, and Japan into its sprawling dominion. Within the Samhan Empire lay Paiyu territory, an impoverished hometown of crucial significance. Two military officers in an opulent office discussed Kim Tae-ju's discharge following an assassination attempt at his unit. Surprised by the word assassination, the reporting officer explained that First Lieutenant Jang In-dong and his squad had ambushed Kim Tae-ju by a cliff during a reconnaissance patrol. Against all odds, Second Lieutenant Kim survived the ambush, was officially discharged, and subsequently vanished into a blue-lit, particle-laden forest. Conveniently, First Lieutenant Jang In-dong and his squad were reported to have been attacked and devoured by monsters while fleeing. The sitting officer questioned the motive for such an act, as the standing officer revealed the hit had been ordered by Japanese-affiliated officers. With a sharp intake of breath, the man's eyes narrowed, connecting the Japanese-affiliated mention to a troubling suspicion. Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang, distraught, realized with a jolt that Mitsui, Honda Mitsui, might be behind the assassination attempt. Honda Mitsui, daughter of a prominent Japanese family integrated into the Samhan Empire, was also the mother of Kim Tae-ju's half-brothers, Taepyeong and Taechin. To secure the Paiyu territory for her Manna-compatible sons, Mitsui had ruthlessly awaited the demise of Tae-ju, a Manna reject, an ominous red aura surrounding his isolated form. The Brigadier General wondered if Mitsui's patience had finally run out, prompting her to arrange an assassination through her family in Kyushu when Tae-ju inexplicably lived to 29. Despite the gravity of the situation, the Brigadier General found himself trapped, needing the financial support of his wealthy in-laws to prop up Paiyu's dire state. With a grim and determined expression, Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang reluctantly concluded that he had no choice but to cover up the incident. Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang, releasing a sigh, dismissed the reporting officer, assuring him he would handle the sensitive matter from here. The ornate wooden door clicked shut with a quiet finality. In the warm glow of his office, the Brigadier General rationalized Kim Tae-ju's fate as a Manna reject, marveling that he had survived to 29, a miracle for someone destined for a Manna rampage. Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang, walking across his luxurious office, decided to overlook Mitsui's reprehensible actions, prioritizing the inheritance for Tae-ju's half-brothers, Taepyeong and Taechin, over a man he deemed already marked for death. Contemplatively, Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang concluded he wouldn't see Kim Tae-ju again, and, in a final act of dismissal, decided not to pursue him, wishing him a life of freedom. From the Samhan Empire's Mount Yuri border zone, a fantastical vista of a sparkling city stretched beneath a sky alive with floating leaves. A profound sense of wonder washed over him, the sprawling city of Gyuri, an unbelievable tapestry below. The man with short brown hair and beard inquired if this was the man with dark green hair's first glimpse of Gyuri, receiving a polite affirmative. The man with short brown hair and beard cleared his throat, announcing the man with dark green hair's unfamiliarity with the city, eliciting only a sheepish, well. 3 centuries prior, Free City Gyuri existed as a modest settlement, a forgotten corner of what was once South Korea. But the subjugation by the Samhan Empire transformed it, especially with Mount Yuri's untamed magical beasts, earning Gyuri its Free City designation. Freed from imperial regulations, the city reveled in tax exemptions and legal impunity, particularly for lucrative magical beast byproducts. Gyuri's prosperity, fueled by lawlessness, attracted awakeners, until the man with dark green hair, impatient, abruptly halted the detailed history. The man with short brown hair and beard concluded with a vital warning about the city's dangerous criminals, for which the man with dark green hair expressed genuine thanks. As they prepared to move, the man with dark green hair mused on his companion's talkative but genuinely kind heart. A shift in time, not long before, ushered in a stark, somber memory. Barely surviving a brutal military assassination attempt, his resolve hardened against the shadowy attackers. After his discharge, he severed all connections, driven to seek out a mystical sanctuary where he could forge greater strength. His quest led him along a verdant path, culminating in the fabled haven of Free City Guri. In this miniature world, Chibi Kim Tae-ju knew Guri's lax authority made him a delightfully elusive target for his family. Flexing his tiny muscles, he recognized Guri's bounty of beasts and herbs as the perfect playground for his martial arts journey. Yet, the very notion of martial arts remained a vivid, unfamiliar whisper in the cosmic dance of his ascended memory. He recalled that a soul sharing, a cosmic intertwining with Tang Gun-ak, the absolute poison demon, who bestowed upon him the primordial formless poison spirit art. He mused with bitter irony, wondering if Honda Mitsui, in her attempt to end him, had instead become an unwitting benefactor. Still needing both strength and money to truly stand alone, Kim Tae-ju worked as a porter on Mount Yiri, before calling out to his companion. Kim Tae-ju probed for insight into their group's power hierarchy, prompting a thoughtful from the man with short brown hair and beard. The man with short brown hair and beard proudly introduced Lee Hanol, the regular rank awakener, a fact that genuinely amazed Kim Tae-ju. Kim Tae-ju's focused gaze calculated Lee Hanol's rank, a step above a mere beginner like Jang In-dong. A strange disturbance marred her mana flow, leaving Lee Hanol flushed and deeply uncomfortable, a perplexing mystery. Her face burned with an unsettling, intensified flush. As Lee Hanol collapsed, a male awakener shrieked a panicked warning. A mutant three-striped mosquito had appeared, its bite a potent threat. Kim Tae-ju's face betrayed a deep, serious incredulity at the word mosquito. The woman with staff, glowing with resolve, prepared her weapon, commanding everyone to move. Fiery energy erupted around her, a prelude to raw power. A devastating fireball screamed from her staff, hurtling towards the forest floor. The forest detonated in a colossal, earth-shattering fiery explosion. Kim Tae-ju questioned the commotion, learning the mosquito's bite caused mana to temporarily vanish. The man with short brown hair explained the mosquito could cause fainting, noting how such insects had disastrously wiped out entire parties before. Kim Tae-ju's mind churned, this affliction strikingly matched a poison detailed within Tang Gun-ak's memories. He knelt, green energy subtly stirring, contemplating whether to utilize the poison spirit art on the unconscious woman before him. Kim Tae-ju voiced his concern, then the humming green energy prompted a puzzled His hands trembled as he realized with alarm, mosquitoes should not appear here. The man in the vest urged retreat, citing their unprotected state and Lee Hanol's collapse, which the man with short brown hair echoed. A subtle rustling sound whispered through the tall grass. A jolt of pure alarm seized him. The man with short brown hair shouted an urgent command, "Prepare for battle," as the group braced themselves. What appeared was merely a long-tailed sex rabbit, a magical beast notoriously at the bottom of the food chain and frequently used in clinical trials. Relief swept through the group, the woman with staff scoffed, "Ah, what? It was just a sec rabbit." With a sigh of relief, the man with short brown hair and beard ordered their retreat, only for a faint, uneasy rustle to reply. A sudden, unseen force struck, and his face contorted in a painful, bloody gasp. The woman with staff's eyes widened in raw, primal terror. She reeled, struck down by an unseen assailant, falling hard. Then, from the trees, green-skinned orcs emerged with heavy, thudding steps, a man's horrified cry of "orcs" echoing. The woman with staff crashed to the ground as the monstrous orcs surged forward. With a fierce, defiant glare, she vowed to buy them time, demanding they take the wounded and fall back as fire ignited around her. Amidst the chaos, the woman with staff cried, "Mr. Kim," as he knelt, cradling Lee Hanul, while others fled. His face set with calm resolve, Kim Tae-ju declared he would remain behind. The man with short brown hair protested, but Kim Tae-ju, firm, insisted he must assist against the overwhelming enemy. Kim Tae-ju gently placed Lee Hanul onto his companion's shoulder, requesting he care for her amidst exasperated protests. Time was short, his eyes narrowed with a green glow, promising only light support. His companion dashed off with Lee Hanul, vowing to return, as Kim Tae-ju, a confident smile playing, calmly reassured him. Amidst the chaotic clashing and pained cries, Kim Tae-ju noted the orc's strangely organized movements, a chilling detail. The woman with staff was struck mid-spell, her desperate fire lance deflecting as a charging orc snarled its intent to kill. Her panicked cry signaled a terrifying realization: an orc pursued the fleeing porters. A heavy, menacing footfall crushed the forest floor. Engulfed in fiery resolve, she fiercely charged, demanding to know the orc's destination. With a roar of defiance, she unleashed a colossal fire wall, engulfing an orc in a deafening, fiery explosion. Kim Tae-ju's eyes widened at the terrifying, dazzling inferno. His eyes flashed wide with an urgent, life-saving duck. Her face was a mask of fierce, unwavering resolve. Utter shock twisted her features as a swift attack unexpectedly descended. The celestial realm unfurled its ethereal grandeur, a vista of boundless wonder shimmering under an incandescent sky. Across its vibrant, mystical expanse, crystalline energies pulsed, animating the ancient pagodas and cherry blossoms of the floating islands with a magic that defied earthly bounds. A month had passed like a whisper in this otherworldly place, an impossible journey he knew would never have begun without Tae-ju. Through the shared essence of souls, a conceptual tapestry of birth unfurled in his mind, granting him forbidden knowledge that transcended realms. Slowly, serene enlightenment blossomed within him, a subtle green energy whispering into his very core. With a soft sigh and a gentle shift, he finally achieved the ascension he had coveted for eons, his physical form dissolving into pure energy. But a bitter, angry truth suddenly snapped into focus, tightening his fist with sharp realization. The celestial realm was no paradise, it was a gilded cage, a prison meant only for the dregs of existence, and his furious outburst cracked the tranquil air. A maniacal cackle ripped through the sky as he unleashed his frustration, denouncing them all as madmen, his pursuit a chaotic blur of rage and contempt. His scorn deepened, sect founders and legendary masters, all reduced to bickering beasts, as he bellowed, "Get back here, you fucking sword immortal." Disgust twisted his features as he observed the distant, savage skirmishes, lamenting the years wasted to arrive at such a barbaric place, echoing screams of "die" across the heavens. Yet, a silver lining remained, the profound connection forged in that other world, the one thread that made this chaotic existence bearable. A gentle smile softened his face as he thought of his counterpart, wondering, "Tae-ju, how have you been?" He reflected on their intertwined destinies, one a martial legend, the other a rejected pariah, hoping his newfound power could finally mend Tae-ju's broken path and grant him happiness. A powerful vision of cosmic energy swirled around the male awakener as Tang Gun-ak urged him to master the seventh star of the primordial formless poison spirit art, to surpass the masters of his memories. A confident smile graced his lips, fueled by the unwavering hope of their future reunion and the new knowledge he diligently sought for Tae-ju. His contemplations shattered as a sudden shock registered on his face, pulled abruptly from his internal world. A mocking voice taunted him, questioning the poison immortal's petty flying dagger art against true swordsmanship, earning a dismissive LMFAO from Tang Gun-ak. Wahaha! Tang Gun-ak roared, his rage igniting as he vowed, "You crazy swordsman, I'll kill you." The woman with staff unleashed a devastating fire wall, the inferno consuming its victim with a terrifying gurath. And a concussive blast. Her eyes widened in alarm, a bead of sweat tracing her temple as a frantic warning cut through the roar of the flames. A powerful blow exploded around the woman with staff as the hulking orc's axe struck, narrowly missing or grazing her. The male awakener simply scoffed, a terse tch escaping his lips. An unseen force slammed into the earth, marking its arrival with sharp, resonant impacts. The woman with staff cried out, a shocked kuk, escaping her lips as another impact hit. The male awakener's foot descended, stomping with powerful intention, a burst of green energy radiating from the impact. His eyes gleaming with fierce resolve, the male awakener declared his intent to unleash a newly mastered, wide-area hidden weapon skill. With a powerful surge, the male awakener unleashed his dagger burst, a torrent of golden projectiles erupting across the clearing. The barrage of daggers struck with rapid, devastating force, sending multiple orcs reeling and tumbling to the ground. Countless golden projectiles shimmered, arcing gracefully through the sky, a beautiful but deadly aftermath of the attack. The male awakener knelt, methodically gathering the scattered golden projectiles while the woman with staff lay unconscious nearby. He surveyed the scene with quiet satisfaction, remarking on the unexpected efficiency with which his new power had dispatched the orcs in a single blow. A new dilemma arose: the woman with staff, inadvertently knocked out in his haste to save her, now presented an awkward problem. He walked away, each rustle of leaves reinforcing his decision to conceal his powers, knowing that any discovery could lead to disastrous misunderstandings and reach his father's ears. His mind made up, the male awakener decided to vanish from the scene before any other unwanted witnesses arrived. Kim Tae-ju smirked, amused at the irony of his current concerns, a world away from his former life as a mana reject, grateful for Tang Gunake's life-changing influence. With a casual tap, Kim Tae-ju prepared to clean up the last vestiges of his intervention before it was too late. The chibi version of Kim Tae-ju groaned at the tedious task of retrieving every single golden coin, lamenting the high production cost of his disposable hidden weapons. He resolved to grow stronger quickly, aiming for the auto-retrieval promised at the 7th star, when a jolt of alarm hit him. I'm missing one. His eyes darted anxiously around the forest, a meticulous search for the missing projectile now taking precedence. His search ended with a small triumph: he found the recalcitrant projectile embedded in a tree trunk. Yet, a gasp of surprise escaped him as his gaze fell upon a large, glowing red mutant mosquito on the forest floor. His eyes narrowed, a focused intensity settling over his features as he processed the unexpected sight. With a swift, green-infused punch, Kim Tae-ju struck out. Holding the tiny mosquito in a green energy bubble, he mused on the unusual appearance of mutant three-striped mosquitoes in this area, a disturbing anomaly. A chilling thought arose as he gazed at the unconscious woman with staff: could this creature be the source of her distress? His hand closed firmly around the mutant mosquito, a dangerous specimen now contained. He analyzed the poison's insidious effect, scattering internal energy, temporarily stripping awakened individuals of their mana. Just as he suspected, the mosquito's toxin eerily resembled the Murim's infamous energy-scattering poison, as visions of chained figures plagued by red energy flashed in his mind. A mosquito bit his arm, reminding him of the grim reality that this world lacked a cure, leaving only protective gear as a viable defense. He began to devise a plan, combining Tang Gunake's Murim knowledge with Earth's potential herbs to concoct an antidote. His eyes widened in grim determination, a visible grimace of disgust twisting his face as he reluctantly prepared to consume the mosquito, knowing he had no other choice. A visible shiver of revulsion shook him as he wiped his mouth, the taste of sacrifice lingering unpleasantly. With a hard gulp, the deed was done. A knowing smirk spread across his face. The poison's composition was a match, and Mount Yiri held the key to a profitable new venture, a veritable goldmine awaiting his touch. He resolved to test his nascent theories upon his return, the distant sounds of crashing impacts echoing ominously through the forest. His eyes narrowed again, a flicker of curiosity turning to sharp alertness as the insistent thuds continued. His eyes shot wide open, a sudden, alarming realization gripping him. His composure shattered as a massive, elite orc descended from above, striking the ground with thunderous impacts, a terrifying question escaping his lips. An elite ORC is appearing here. The elite orc's face contorted in a menacing snarl, its red eyes glowing with feral hunger. The elite orc's glowing red eyes burned with a singular, furious intent. Kim Taeju's mind reeled, a creature of such colossal scale, now speaking, defied every expectation. A dry cough rattled his chest as the terrifying truth settled, an elite, a creature of mere rumor, now stood before him. His mind raced, a torrent of desperate questions about the unnatural escalation of horrors engulfing Mtiri. The orc's guttural roar tore through the air, signaling the crushing descent of its massive axe. With a thunderous quang, the colossal weapon cleaved the earth, forcing a gasp of sheer terror from him. Yet from the shattered earth, a sharp blade erupted, a desperate counterattack blooming from the destruction. He hung suspended, a pang of disbelief hitting him that his powerful strike had done so little. A careful, calculated risk, his only option was to test the colossal beast's limits with the coins clinking in his palm. He unleashed the flying dagger arts, single flash, a torrent of golden projectiles tearing through the air. The barrage of coins struck its hardened hide, each impact echoing a hollow tack. Each gleaming projectile simply ricocheted off its impervious form with a disheartening pat. More coins harmlessly rebounded, a clear confirmation of his tactical dead end. A weary confirmation settled in his gaze, confirming his worst suspicions about its resilience. His most potent hidden art had utterly failed, leaving him to confront the orc's unyielding form. He meticulously weighed his remaining options, hoping the potent poison of his blood seal palm could succeed where brute force had failed. A guttural quaw ripped from its throat, a deafening promise of immediate, violent retaliation. He cursed his momentary hesitation, a wave of self-reproach flooding his resolve. In a flash of self-recrimination, he imagined Tang Gunake's disappointment, a powerful spur to shed his weakness. He admitted his own arrogance, gathering intense green energy between his hands, ready to make amends for his overconfidence. With swirling green energy, he lunged, driven by an unyielding resolve to crush any obstacle until it fell. His face a mask of fierce concentration, he unleashed the blood seal poison palm, a technique infused with his very essence. 22, the elite orc answered with a defiant quaw, raising its axe, green light flickering across its formidable body. Narration transition. With a deafening quang and a shrill jiang, his concentrated poison attack enveloped the orc, green energy searing against its form. A prolonged, guttural quack tore from its throat, a testament to the poison's searing agony. The poison culminated in a cataclysmic quang, a massive explosion of green energy engulfing the forest. In the sudden silence, the orc's formidable axe clattered to the ground, abandoned. Despite the crushing blow, the orc remained standing, gazing down at his exhausted, kneeling form. A grim realization settled, his powerful attack hadn't landed a decisive blow, stealing his weary resolve to fight on. His eyes narrowed, burning with unwavering resolve to utterly demolish his foe. But then, with a shocking pong, a new, devastating force suddenly struck the orc. The elite orc became a black silhouette, brutally carved apart by a flurry of crimson energy, swift and utterly merciless. A choked gasp escaped him, his mind struggling to process the impossible defeat of the elite orc. A menacing silhouette with glowing red eyes stood over the elite, having carved it apart with terrifying, effortless speed. A cold dread settled in, confirming this new figure's master rank, and he cursed the elite orc for delaying his escape. His mind raced for an excuse, even as he anxiously called out, knowing he was walking into a dangerous confrontation. A new figure stepped into the carnage, his voice sharp with surprise, demanding answers. The man's condescending tone cut through the air, his disdain evident as he questioned the impossible. Under the man's suspicious glare, Kim Taeju remained silently uneasy, a small cough betraying his discomfort. The dominant figure, revealed as Lee Jung-hak, demanded an answer, his authority pressing down on Kim Taeju. Recognizing a master's power and condescension, Kim Taeju carefully crafted his words, beginning with a polite thank you. His carefully prepared introduction was comically interrupted by a frantic, concerned call from the man in vest with scarf. Kim Tae-ju quickly refocused the conversation, relieved when the man in vest with scarf confirmed the cargo was safe. Lee Jung-hak's suspicion flared, a keen eyebrow raising at the mention of an unknown gentleman. Lee Jung-hak brusquely dismissed his subordinate's apologies, his command for cleanup firm and absolute. Kim Tae-ju internally recounted Lee Jung-hak's formidable influence, a master ranker, guild master, and powerful figure in Guri City's complex political landscape. The man in vest with scarf's grumbling about guild tributes was cut short by Lee Jung-hak's stern, authoritative command. Under the man in vest with scarf's hurried instruction, Kim Tae-ju politely introduced himself as a humble porter, offering thanks for the rescue. Lee Jung-hak's suspicion deepened, his question a direct challenge to Kim Tae-ju's unassuming facade. He smoothly fabricated a tale of an exhausted mage and a sudden elite orc, his feigned humility masking internal irritation. The man with dark green hair efficiently reported the survivor was secured, suggesting their departure to Lee Jung-hak, who was off-panel. With a simple, "Let's go," Lee Jung-hak turned, his boots disappearing into the forest. As their footsteps faded, Kim Tae-ju stood, lost in a sudden, quiet reflection. Lee Jung-hak's confident smirk was a chilling prelude to his veiled, menacing warning for Kim Tae-ju to tread carefully in Guri. Lee Jung-hak's ominous threat was punctuated by a booming, menacing "Kwahahaha," leaving Kim Tae-ju silently unsettled as they departed. The man in vest with scarf's grave warning underscored the absolute necessity of avoiding Lee Jung-hak's wrath. Kim Tae-ju, mildly annoyed by the insults, learned the blunt truth of Lee Jung-hak's deep corruption. The man in vest with scarf further explained Lee Jung-hak's superficial role, earning an understanding nod from Kim Tae-ju. The man in vest with scarf wisely advised avoiding masters, then shifted focus, asking if their precious cargo remained unharmed. A click from his backpack accompanied the sobering thought that Lee Jung-hak's intervention had saved him from genuine peril. He plunged into a painful self-critique, realizing his complacency since gaining power and defeating an awakener was a dangerous arrogance. Ashamed and regretful towards Tang Gun-ak, his eyes narrowed with a fierce resolve for change. His eyes ablaze with green power, he swore a silent, unwavering vow to himself, to truly grow stronger. Guri, a free city nestled within the Samhan Empire, appeared well established from the sky, yet its infrastructure secretly harbored crucial deficiencies. The most glaring absence was a proper hospital. A distressed woman was dragged away in broad daylight, a stark illustration of the dangerous city's lack of decent care. In the dim alley, a man in a hoodie struggled as two enraged figures accosted him, spitting accusations of being a quack son of a bitch amidst the city's distrust. The city's streets bustled with anonymous figures, their restless shuffles echoing the urgent needs of the populace. Pharmacists in Guri, like the woman offering a smiling discount, wielded unique authority, allowed to prescribe and sell empire-approved drugs due to necessity. With dubious hospitals avoided, the booming business of reliable medication exchanges felt like a logical, necessary choice for citizens. Against a dynamic swirl of energy, the mysterious figure declared his true purpose, to sell a painstakingly crafted antidote for the mutant three-striped mosquito. A month of relentless toil, gathering rare ingredients and mastering the intricate third stage of the poison spirit art, had forged this delicate creation. Having reached the third stage, the speaker now walked with an assured smirk, his days of being easily beaten up a distant past. He strode towards the bustling marketplace, a future of financial freedom shimmering before him. It was time to get rich. A welcoming clang of a bell announced his arrival. Inside the brightly lit Beck's drugstore, a cheerful welcome greeted the hooded man as he confidently stepped further into the spacious pharmacy. She rattled off common remedies, but he swiftly cut through the usual offerings, asking directly for the owner. A sharp gasp escaped her lips, her pleasant demeanor replaced with sudden bewilderment. With a confident smirk, he clarified his presence. He was not a customer, but a merchant. She stifled a laugh, her hand covering her mouth as Baek Hongpyo unknowingly passed by. Baek Hongpyo stroked his beard, deep in contemplation. Baek Hongpyo, CEO of the drugstore and director of the orphanage, then introduced himself, inviting the hooded man to speak freely. The hooded figure announced his intention to sell a self-made drug, his hands already rummaging within his backpack. Baek Hongpyo let out a weary sigh, another peddler, another day. Sternly, Baek Hongpyo advised the seemingly new arrival to seek work elsewhere, even as the hooded man calmly pulled bottles from his bag. An antidote for the mutant three-striped mosquito, he stated, presenting the bottle. Mid-dismissal, Baek Hongpyo suddenly paused, a dawning surprise widening his eyes. Huh? His annoyance dissolved into intrigue as he pressed for clarification on this startling claim. With a confident smirk, he reiterated, a mutant. Three-striped mosquito. Antidote, the bottles clinking softly. Baek Hongpyo's eyes narrowed, lost in quiet suspicion. He calmly placed the bottle on the counter, explaining its oral, preventative use. The claim of a 10-hour effect surprised Baek Hongpyo, who then watched as the bottle was nudged closer. A sudden, explosive rage contorted Baek Hongpyo's face. Keep your scams believable, you cheeky brat. Baek Hongpyo bellowed, his fury echoing in the store. Unfazed by the outburst, the hooded man calmly placed 2 more bottles onto the counter. With an unwavering smirk, he held up a business card, inviting them to test it and call if interested. He laid the card on the counter, setting a clear, non-negotiable deadline, midnight tonight. As the entrance bell clanged, he waved goodbye, warning them he would take his offer elsewhere if they failed to respond by the appointed time. The 3 remaining figures stood in silence, each lost in thought, processing the strange encounter. What the, is he crazy? Baek Hongpyo exclaimed, his surprise and annoyance palpable. Raid team leader Park Jin-soo picked up a bottle, his curiosity piqued by the outlandish claim. The junkie of potions, raid team leader Park Jin-soo, confidently asked Baek Hongpyo if he genuinely believed the fantastical claim. Baek Hongpyo's expression remained deeply doubtful. He admitted his profound uncertainty. With a wary sigh, Baek Hongpyo handed the bottle over, deciding a test was the only way to know. Despite the empire's top firms failing, his hopes remained low, yet the hooded man's overwhelming confidence inexplicably gnawed at his skeptical mind. Baek Hongpyo's eyes widened in startled surprise as a frantic debate unfolded around him. A panicked gasp from the employee wasn't enough. Park Jin-soo chugged the liquid, eliciting Baek Hongpyo's furious shout about the unverified substance. The liquid went down with a definitive gulp. This is just plain water, he asked, utterly bewildered. Plain water? Baek Hongpyo echoed in utter disbelief. Baek Hongpyo pressed, questioning how a notorious potion junkie felt absolutely no medicinal effects whatsoever, to which Park Jin-soo flatly agreed. Park Jin-soo confidently dismissed it as mere water, asserting his experienced body would have registered some energy if it were a true antidote. He tossed the empty bottle into the trash, decisively declaring the hooded man a scammer and ordering the remaining bottles discarded. Baek Hongpyo looked at the remaining bottles, a lingering doubt gnawing at him. Was he truly just another everyday scammer? An overflowing shopping basket was presented, and the employee asked for the bill. As he walked away, Park Jin-soo casually told the employee he was off frog hunting, jokingly blaming the scammer's drug for his delay. He paid the hefty 3.25 million won bill without complaint, a casual acceptance of his expensive potion habit, still oblivious to the business card tucked among his purchases. He announced his departure to boss Baek and exited, the bell clanging softly. Baek Hongpyo offered a warning to be careful on the hunt, internally dismissing the very notion of a mosquito antidote as absolute nonsense. Explosions violently crashed through the dark, ominous forest. A monstrous, white wolf-like creature roared fiercely. A powerful shield reinforcement activated, clanging into place. Park Jin-soo, embroiled in chaos, screamed in shock at the sudden, impossible appearance of a blade-toothed marten. A female warrior, shouting fiercely, swung her long sword upwards in a dramatic arc. Leader, the rear is clear. Let's retreat now, the female warrior urged, as a male fighter strained with magical energy. She gasped in pain, feeling the insidious mosquito venom beginning to paralyze her limbs. Park Jin-soo grimaced through gritted teeth, determined to finish the creature, convinced victory was within reach. But his determination instantly shattered into utter shock. His face contorted in alarm as he realized the insects were mutant mosquitoes. An insect stung his neck, and a chilling realization struck him: another bite would scatter his mana, leading to complete paralysis. If he fell, the entire team would be wiped out. The female warrior already struggled, weakened and vulnerable. His shield cracked and sputtered, the dire situation leaving him to ponder how their meticulous bug-proof preparations had failed so utterly. A blade-tooth marten had unexpectedly leaped into their mutant frog hunting grounds, throwing everything into disarray. Their specialized bug-proof suits were torn to shreds in an instant. As team leader, he lamented his panicked lapse in judgment, realizing his own carelessness had led to him taking a debilitating hit. Bitten and desperate, they had tried to retreat, battling their way through the chaotic, desaturated battlefield as creatures swarmed. But the martens blocked their desperate escape, forcing them into a fight for survival, leaving him to wonder if this was truly their end. "Leader, look out!" the female warrior shrieked in sudden panic. Park Jin-soo gasped, his face contorted in sheer terror. The warrior's desperate shriek ripped through the twilight, a piercing warning. A sharp gasp tore from the male awakener's throat, a cold dread seizing him. A fierce, cat-like creature lunged, its attack a blur of feral intent. With an explosive crack, the energy barrier shattered into countless pieces. The creature's vicious assault pulverized the male awakener's shield in a blinding flash. Yet, as he assessed the debris, a strange realization dawned: only the shield had crumbled, his true power remained. A bead of sweat traced a path down his brow as a crucial, impossible thought began to form. Could the haphazard antidote he once witnessed actually be their salvation? He forced his scattered thoughts into sharp focus, resolve hardening his gaze. His gloved hand clamped around his sword hilt with a resolute thud. If that antidote held truth, then his blade would carve a new path through this chaos. A sliver of confidence, a genuine chance, glimmered within his determined smirk. The quiet night settled over Beck's pharmacy, a beacon in the sleeping city. A gentle ding of the bell heralded an unexpected visitor. "We're closed," the man with beard stated, until a flicker of recognition transformed his voice. "Park." The man in full armor's voice cracked with raw desperation, demanding every last bottle of the morning's antidote. A vibrant wash of sounds and bustling crowds announced Guri Market, alive with activity. A vendor's booming voice hawked blade sable meat, promising vigor for a hefty sum. Another stall boasted custom, crustacean magic beast armor, an exorbitant luxury for adventurers. The man with dark green hair gazed, utterly dazzled by the sheer scale of the market, a vibrant world beyond his imagining. A contented smile played on his lips, taking this day off had been an inspired choice. Crafting the venom antidote demanded meticulous poison spirit arts, a process so taxing it left its creator utterly drained and requiring rest. Meanwhile, the tranquil facade of Café Eden held secrets yet to unfold. The man with beard eagerly urged a contract, met by the man with dark green hair's confident resolve to acquire every bottle. He inquired with a shrewd, knowing smile, certain the antidote had proven its worth. Overjoyed, the man with beard effusively praised the medicine as a game-changer, then profusely apologized for his past skepticism. After a quick, awkward dodge, the man with beard smoothly shifted the conversation back to inventory volume. 60,000 bottles were ready, the man with beard declared, prompting a query about future supplies. With a confident smirk, the man with dark green hair assured them of immediate additional production capacity. The man with beard presented the contract, outlining pricing and his commitment to handling all legal approvals. The man with dark green hair shrewdly noted the terms were favorable, despite the minuscule production cost and a staggering 30 billion won for the initial batch. 27 billion after taxes, he mused at the free city's surprisingly low 10% rate, a true anomaly. Then, he astonished the man with beard, offering a year's exclusive supply at a drastically reduced price. The man with dark green hair revealed his knowledge of Baek Hongpyo's orphanage, praising the man's renowned generosity toward Gyuri's children. He offered the reduced price as a gesture of support for the orphanage, requesting only a manufacturing location in return. Tears welled as the man with beard, deeply moved, hailed him a saint and promised a perfect manufacturing site. With a firm handshake, their unlikely partnership was sealed, promising future cooperation. Flush with the antidote contract and a hefty down payment, he ambled through the bustling Gyuri market, seeking new gear. Amidst the vibrant hubbub, his steps continued through the market's lively labyrinth. A bald man in an apron suddenly hailed him, his voice booming with a tempting offer of weaponry. He blinked in surprise, momentarily confused that he was the target. "Our shop is the best," the bald man declared, urging him not to stray, but to step right inside. With a confident wink, the bald man offered a handsome discount, his sales pitch charmingly direct. A nervous bead of sweat formed as he stammered an awkward refusal, insisting he truly needed nothing. Thwack, a hand shot out, clamping unexpectedly onto his arm. "How mean," the bald man purred, grinning as he held him captive, eliciting a terrified eek. As he was effortlessly dragged away, he mentally grappled with the blacksmith's impossible strength, wondering if he'd stumbled upon a hidden master. Two ornate shields shimmered with a polished glow, testament to fine craftsmanship. Gleaming hammers and a sharp sword awaited their wielder, radiating potential. Three identical swords, their edges honed, drew a proud inquiry from the bald man. "You made these yourself?" he asked, genuinely impressed, as the bald man proudly reaffirmed his undisputed mastery. His eyes flared with a green glow, focusing his unique perception with heightened intensity. This was no empty boast, he admitted, reflecting on the exceptional quality that defied his initial, superficial judgment. "Very well," he conceded, then presented a drawing with a request for 100 replicas. The bald man peered at the willow leaf daggers blueprint, questioning their unusual size and the intended user. Confirming their personal use, he listened as the bald man thoughtfully suggested mana steel for the unusual weapons. A hopeful curiosity tinged his voice as he asked if such weapons were even possible. "Of course," the bald man affirmed, stipulating a material delay, which he readily accepted, then asked the price. 250 million won, he declared, throwing in a handsome discount and requesting a mere 10% down payment. 250 million for 100 throwaway weapons was steep, but he decided to pay the full sum up front. With promises of samples sent once ready, the transaction concluded, and he offered his thanks as he departed the forge. The willow leaf daggers were secured, he mused, now his thoughts turned to finding the perfect set of armor. He envisioned a flowing, custom-made robe, a perfect vessel for hidden weapons, just like the legendary Tang Gun AK. But the thought of drawing such stares, of being a spectacle in a modern hanbok, quickly made him opt for something less embarrassing. What modern armor could replace a robe? He pondered, then tentatively addressed someone nearby, searching. His gaze sharpened, eyes fixed on an intriguing sight or person off-panel. A woman with cat ears enthusiastically advertised Flame Boutique's new Magic Beast leather armor, warmly inviting him inside to browse. A coat of Magic Beast leather, it struck him as a far more practical and stylish alternative to a traditional robe. With a dismissive laugh, Kim Tae-ju was already halfway out the door, ready to abandon any lingering conversation with a flick of his wrist. His past self had meticulously planned to live quietly, even fabricating truths, with a contingency to vanish entirely if his deception were ever unraveled. A hand clamped down with sudden force, halting Kim Tae-ju's escape and demanding his attention. Her wide eyes searched his, a desperate question hanging between them, as she sought confirmation of her long-held suspicion. In a faded memory, the man recounted how he played along with the fabricated story, thinking he was honorably covering for a greater truth. Kim Tae-ju strained, attempting to pivot the conversation, insisting his humble status as a porter made such heroic feats impossible. A man's heartfelt thanks for his rescued comrades, and the painful recovery of his team leader and lover, left his uncomfortable rescuer sweating. Overwhelmed with profound gratitude, the woman wept openly, leaving Kim Tae-ju at a complete loss for how to even begin accepting such an intense display. He privately acknowledged the complex truth of his past actions, a blend of saving lives and mere self-experimentation, before attempting to soothe the emotional mage. Despite her tearful smile, she apologized for his visible discomfort, though Kim Tae-ju inwardly questioned if he even deserved such heartfelt thanks. A new voice, sharp and indignant, cut through the moment, demanding to know why her lady was being so flagrantly disrespected. As the red-haired woman stammered an apology, Kim Tae-ju let out a quiet gasp, utterly taken aback by the sudden shift in the room's tense atmosphere. Jong Yeon-hee knelt on the polished floor, her bowed head a stark testament to her deep and utter contrition. With a visible tremble, the woman apologized profusely, confessing her inability to sell the very coat Kim Tae-ju had intended to purchase. His eyes widened in utter disbelief. The object of their fierce negotiation was precisely the coat he had just decided upon. The bob-haired woman erupted in a furious tirade, incredulous that after such effort and measurement, the valuable item was now being inexplicably withheld. The boutique owner, her voice laced with regret, softly explained that her most prized possession, the very coat in question, was now unexpectedly required for someone else. Her calm apology offered personal compensation, a desperate attempt to mend the significant slight she had inadvertently caused. As the bob-haired woman's disbelief lingered, the owner firmly ended the conversation, her decisive footsteps echoing the finality of her words. The light-haired woman turned, resolute, her companion stammering in shock as she led them swiftly towards the exit. The bob-haired woman, leaping in frustration, could not comprehend their departure, while her companion calmly accepted that the coveted coat was now simply needed elsewhere. Kim Tae-ju thoughtfully mused on the sudden commotion, realizing his unexpected presence had somehow alienated a very important client. The woman playfully reassured him, deflecting any guilt, yet Kim Tae-ju still pondered the inexplicable decision to suddenly withhold the coat. With a knowing smirk, she gently teased Kim Tae-ju, pointing out his apparent blind spot for social cues. His earnest denial was met with her silent, exasperated thought that he truly remained oblivious, even now. Her direct gaze revealed the surprising truth: the coveted coat was, in fact, intended as a gift for him. Kim Tae-ju could only stammer in pure, unadulterated astonishment. With a reverent touch, she declared her intention to repay her life debt with the rare and luxurious silver fox fur coat. He flatly refused, admitting his past actions sprang from no lofty ideals, but rather a more casual, almost accidental, turn of events. With a choked cry, she passionately asserted that his intentions were meaningless, only the undeniable fact of her survival and his life-saving act held any true significance. Her eyes, glistening with unshed tears, revealed the profound tragedy behind her plea: if he felt burdened, he should save others from the meaningless loss she had endured with her own lover. His contemplative gaze betrayed a deep internal shift. Such profound gratitude was an entirely unprecedented experience in his life. Haunted by a lifetime of criticism, he found the weight of her sincere gratitude a burdensome novelty, especially knowing his true, less pure, intentions. Yet, despite everything, a faint, almost imperceptible smile played on his lips. It didn't feel bad at all. With a confident smile, he finally relented, agreeing to graciously accept the gift after her fervent and persistent insistence. A relieved sigh and an excited exclamation burst forth, urging immediate action to take his measurements. A small figure floated languidly through the ethereal expanse of the immortal realm, letting out a drawn-out sigh. A gentle feather brush against his nose did little to alleviate the profound, cosmic boredom that settled upon him. Sword Immortal Dongbin, dramatically clutched his head, bemoaning the utter lack of engaging activity within this supposedly grand immortal realm. He grumbled about the monotonous uniformity of the immortals, only to be playfully rebuked by his equally ancient, yet distinct, peers about their varying details. A subtle shift of his gaze landed on a lone figure, whose very presence seemed to deviate from the established immortal norm. The old man mused that the Tang clan figure, despite also hailing from the martial world, possessed an inexplicable, striking uniqueness. The old man pondered Tang Gunake's baffling transformation, a sudden shift to otherworldly styles, a changed aura, and outlandish clothes, humorously concluding the man was simply insane. Still drowning in boredom, immortal Dongbin mused on learning clothes making from the Tang clan figure, hoping a change of attire might banish the dullness, and perhaps, double the lunacy. With a resolute nod, immortal Dongbin prepared to launch himself on his sword, determined to pursue his newfound, whimsical objective. His hand clenched tightly around a secret, valuable offering, convinced it would easily secure the lessons he desired. Within his grasp shimmered a heavenly Tao peach, a luminous, peerless treasure from the immortal realm itself. The ethereal sound of transition faded, revealing the sprawling, futuristic majesty of the free city of Guri within the Samhan Empire. The rhythmic rumble of city traffic underscored the ceaseless movement of pedestrians and vehicles navigating the vibrant urban landscape. A voice pondered the distant, anachronistic structure, questioning the very notion of a castle amidst the gleaming modernity. From their high perch, the bob-haired woman scoffed at the castle's antiquated vanity, an absurd city wall for the year 2325. Zhang Yonhe's annoyed expression confirmed the rumors of restricted access, revealing the exclusive castle area as a sanctuary solely for Guri's elite. Zhang Yonhe, identified as the Baekdu Group's heir and an Army Academy cadet, scathingly condemned the powerful for using safety as a mere facade for their privileged isolation. Her attendant nervously tried to lighten the mood, inquiring about the fur coat, which Zhang Yonhe corrected was not just any, but rare Siberian phantom fox fur. Zhang Yonhe meticulously detailed the fur's exceptional rarity, its daunting hunt, and its unparalleled properties for both defense and thermal regulation. With a broad, enthusiastic smile, the attendant agreed, confirming the fur's rarity made the long journey entirely worthwhile. The attendant mentioned her chairman's generous black card, but Zhang Yonhe proudly dismissed it, asserting her admirable financial independence. With a series of rumbles and hisses, the tram announced its arrival at Guri Market, signaling passengers to prepare for disembarkation. A crisp ting marked the determined first step onto the bustling platform. The two women moved with urgent purpose through the crowded street, Zhang Yonhe eager to behold the real coat without another moment's delay. His eyes narrowed slightly, betraying a thoughtful hum of recognition or dawning curiosity. A hand carefully held the catalogue, pondering if the demonic beast leather coat could indeed serve as a suitable replacement for a traditional jangpo. Kim Taeju entered the boutique, announcing he had been guided inside, and drawing surprised glances from the gathered staff. The owner paused Kim Taeju, while he privately wondered if these new, uninvited guests were also vying for the very same coat. With a polite, professional smile, the Flame boutique owner extended her formal welcome to the newly arrived customers. The owner's surprised recognition of Kim Taeju was met with his utterly bewildered question of whether they had ever even met. She pressed on, recalling the desperate, month-old memory of an orc attack where she, a mage, had been part of his very same beleaguered party. A sudden spark of recognition flared in Kim Taeju's mind, swiftly followed by his inquiry into the mage's surprising presence in the boutique. With a bright, relieved smile, the woman clarified that the boutique was her true profession, and she had been actively seeking him out. The story began at Beck's orphanage in Gurui City. A low hum echoed down the concrete stairwell. Deep within, a secure vault door hummed silently, promising untold secrets. A hand disturbed a bright, glowing, rippling green liquid. Kim Taeju's faint smirk betrayed his deep satisfaction with the outcome, a gentle hiss accompanying his thoughts. He prepared himself for a crucial incoming message, an earbud clicking into place. Beck Hongpyo confirmed the undiluted solution's manufacturing was successfully complete, reporting to the CEO with a light chime. Relief quickly turned to alarm as the popular stock had vanished almost overnight, causing a low murmur of concern. The medicine's wild success had unleashed pandemonium, with frantic customers creating outright chaos and frantic cries. The man on the phone learned of severe hoarding, while urgent shouts for more packing echoed through the warehouse. Kim Tae-ju, with a subtle smirk, instructed them to announce a steady supply, limiting purchases to quell the frenzy. The man agreed but voiced a nervous concern that such explosive popularity would invite swift copycat drugs. Kim Tae-ju confidently dismissed the worry, picking up a bottle with a soft scrape. He reasoned that true replication was impossible without the poison spirit art, even as he packed bottles into a box with a dull thud. Baek Hongpyo interrupted, his voice urgent, asking about the long-awaited packaging machines. Kim Tae-ju, leaning on a stack of boxes, wryly mentioned he'd personally packed thousands, having been stuck there for a week. Two children approached, the small figure whispering of a ghost while Lee Jung-hak confidently declared it a mere beggar. The girl insisted on the ghost, but Lee Jung-hak stubbornly maintained it was only a beggar who stole their secret base. The vault doors suddenly creaked open, rotating slowly and bathing the area in an eerie purple light. As the door swung further open, a dark, smoky interior bled out, pulsating with intense purple light and ominous energy. Kim Tae-ju stood tall, silhouetted against the dark aura, his glowing red eyes freezing the terrified children below. With a wide, unsettling smirk, Kim Tae-ju greeted the children, his purple eyes glowing menacingly. The children erupted in pure terror, their screams piercing the air. Shrieking about a smelly ghost, the children fled in panicked haste, leaving Kim Tae-ju behind. Kim Tae-ju, hands on hips, grumbled that being called a smelly ghost was harsh after his tireless work. He cautiously sniffed his arm, wondering if he truly smelled as bad as the children claimed. An urgent plea to cover for someone left Kim Tae-ju conflicted, torn between an important appointment and a much-needed shower. A sudden voice startled Kim Tae-ju, asking if he was Kim Tae-ju. The sharp clicks of approaching high heels echoed in the hallway. Baek Seo-yeon introduced herself, a box in her arms, while the terrified children clung to her, still muttering about a smelly ghost. Kim Tae-ju confirmed his identity, curiosity piquing as he sought her name. Baek Seo-yeon politely introduced herself, confirming her connection to Baek's orphanage. She explained her visit was prompted by the younger children's tales of a basement ghost, which Kim Tae-ju wryly acknowledged. Baek Seo-yeon then presented a package to him, declaring it his delivery. Kim Tae-ju's face lit up in excited recognition, it was the prototype he needed just in time. Baek Seo-yeon, flustered by his enthusiasm, blushed as she expressed hope for continued relations with her father. She reminded Kim Tae-ju to wash up before leaving and walked away with the children, leaving him with the package. Kim Tae-ju, a smirk playing on his lips, eagerly contemplated examining the willow leaf flying dagger, before even showering. As he opened the box, Kim Tae-ju discovered a folded note among the dagger-like items. Kim Tae-ju recoiled in utter disgust as the craftsman's flirty message blew a kiss from the note. A chibi Kim Tae-ju erupted in furious rage, fragments of his calm shattering around him. With a deep breath, Kim Tae-ju calmed himself and reached into the box. He noted the plausible appearance of the item, affirming its evident sharpness and solidity with a soft slice. Kim Tae-ju tested the dagger, confirming its perfect weight and grip with a swift flick. Satisfied with the dagger's excellent craftsmanship, Kim Tae-ju looked forward to the completed coat. He resolved to pay for the item properly, recalling the craftsman's prior offer to give it for free. Realizing time was short, Kim Tae-ju decided a shower was still his immediate priority. The setting shifted dramatically to the vast, sparkling expanse of the empty eerie demonic beast border zone. A small group of individuals waited patiently in a forest clearing. A man with dark green hair called out, drawing attention as Oh Se-hyun approached. Oh Se-hyun enthusiastically waved, extending a warm welcome to someone he called Mr. Kim. Oh Se-hyun apologized for his tardiness, but Kim Tae-ju quickly reassured him, thanking him for his urgent arrival. Oh Se-hyun expressed gratitude for past favors, but their conversation was abruptly interrupted. A hand gripping a katana hilt revealed Jang Wonjun's aggressive intent, demanding an apology from the lowly porter. Jang Wonjun scornfully questioned their camaraderie, deriding their interaction as a mere social gathering. Kim Tae-ju confronted Jang Wonjun, firmly asserting he was not late and owed no apology. Jang Wonjun's rage ignited, his katana glowing red as he threatened to slice Kim Tae-ju for his insolence. Kim Tae-ju struggled against his own murderous intent, understanding now why so many avoided such individuals. Oh Se-hyun desperately whispered to Kim Tae-ju to endure, pleading about a binding contract, while Jang Wonjun smugly taunted him. Kim Tae-ju, jaw clenched in suppressed fury, reluctantly apologized, choosing to endure the humiliation. A male awakener intervened, telling Jang Wonjun to move on, but he delivered a final, menacing threat as he walked away. Oh Se-hyun apologized again to a forcing a smile Kim Tae-ju as the raid team finally began its uneasy departure. Kim Tae-ju inwardly expressed shock and concern at the dangerously small number of raid members. Oh Se-hyun openly questioned the team's size, drawing an annoyed and surprised reaction from Jang Wonjun. Jang Wonjun angrily threatened Oh Se-hyun for speaking out, but Oh Se-hyun defiantly refused to proceed if the raid wasn't safe. Jang Wonjun exploded in rage, his eyes glowing red as he furiously condemned Oh Se-hyun's defiance. Kim Tae-ju silently absorbed Jang Wonjun's brutal words about a person destined for death. Jang Wonjun declared his intention to kill Oh Se-hyun on the spot, drawing his katana menacingly. Raid team leader Kwon Dong-suk intervened, stopping Jang Wonjun, but then issued his own brutal threat to the porter. Jang Wonjun scoffed, mocking the lowly porter's audacity to question the raid team's numbers. The raid team leader tried to calm Jang Wonjun, who defiantly asserted that Oh Se-hyun could not escape him, as others showed annoyance. Kim Tae-ju's murderous intent surged, his green eyes glowing as he questioned whether to endure such disrespect or simply eliminate them. Raid team leader Kwon Dong-suk commanded everyone to take the antidote and immediately move out. Oh Se-hyun apologized again for the difficult situation, but Kim Tae-ju's concern about the inadequate team size persisted. Oh Se-hyun explained that the mosquito antidote had drastically reduced the required personnel for the Blade Martin area. Oh Se-hyun, expressing slight anxiety, reassured them about the team size and offered a special bottle of antidote to Mr. Kim. Kim Tae-ju thanked Oh Se-hyun, reflecting inwardly on how his new power had ignited a significant personal transformation. He recalled a sorrowful woman's plea, her tears reflecting a tragic loss, asking him to save others from a similar fate. As he drank the antidote, Kim Tae-ju reflected on how his power was fulfilling her wish to save lives, changing him in the process. Kim Tae-ju's internal struggle continued, his murderous intent resurfacing twice, making him question if he should simply eliminate his tormentors. He attributed these violent urges to the insidious influence of Tang Gun-ak, the absolute poison demon. A bloody hand, dripping red, starkly visualized the deadly and uncompromising nature of that influence. The narration dramatically explained that Tang Gun-ak's poisonous heart was assimilating with his own after their soul sharing. Kim Tae-ju reflected that this intense transformation was a necessary change for survival in a brutal world. Kim Tae-ju sternly advised Oh Se-hyun to stick close, surprising the CEO who questioned trusting a powerless porter. Kim Tae-ju's serious tone intensified, amplified by the menacing appearance of a monstrous wolf he had sensed in the forest. The narrative confirmed the wolf's snarling face and glowing red eyes heralded a ferocious and targeted killing intent. The ancient Mirim was engulfed in a ferocious inferno, as the Juga clan faced an onslaught that tore through their very foundations. With an ominous grace, a figure descended from the inferno-lit skies, its presence rippling with unseen power. Amidst the devastation, the old patriarch, Juga Cheon, stumbled, a guttural groan torn from his ravaged throat. Juga Cheon, consumed by a fierce rage, demanded to know why Tang Gun-ak had dared to lay waste to his revered clan. Tang Gun-ak's voice, laced with chilling confidence, revealed Juga Cheon's hidden identity, a secret now laid bare amidst the burning city. He thundered accusations of collusion with the demonic cult, his words underscored by the ominous hum of countless glowing blades that now surrounded him. Zhuge Qian, pleading from the rubble, vehemently denied the shocking accusations, clinging to his clan's esteemed legacy. Tang Gunake, with a dismissive gesture, silenced Zhuge Qian's desperate pleas, fueling a raw cry of frustration. Zhuge Qian's face contorted with a fear so profound it made his blood run cold. A bloodied figure slumped to the ground as Tang Gunake's cruel words twisted the knife, revealing a horrifying truth. With an unsettling calm, Tang Gunake painted a grim picture of Zhuge Qian's son, whose monstrous acts had brought this horrific reckoning. Tang Gunake's gaze, sharp and accusatory, pressed Zhuge Qian for an admission of the heinous crimes now exposed. His fury erupted, a visceral hatred for those who preyed on the vulnerable, using them as mere pawns in their desperate schemes. Zhuge Qian, reduced to a trembling wreck, begged for his life, offering the darkest secrets of the heavenly demon in exchange. Having delivered his verdict on Zhuge Qian's crimes, Tang Gunake prepared to unleash the inevitable judgment upon him. With a single, chilling word, Tang Gunake sealed Zhuge Qian's horrifying fate. A cataclysmic force erupted, Tang Gunake's declaration echoing a promise of similar devastation for the heavenly demon. Amidst the smoldering ruins, the final, dreadful pronouncement sent his victims to an eternal hell. The team gloated about their effortless victory against the Martins, reveling in their perceived strength. As the others cheered over their glittering haul, Kim Taeju quietly dismissed their bravado, mentally branding their absent companion a coward. A nervous team member sought to placate Kim Taeju, unaware of the silent disdain Kim Taeju harbored for their reliance on his antidote. A chilling thought crossed Kim Taeju's mind, casually weighing the lives of his companions against their inevitable doom. He dismissed the thought, such contemptible scum were hardly worthy as the initial sacrifices for his grand Yu Wu Baidu. Kim Taeju mentally underscored the team's utter dependence on his antidote, even as two of them aggressively confronted an unseen presence. Yet, a crucial, but lingered in his piercing gaze, an unspoken question. Could they truly handle what was coming, he wondered, as a soft rustle whispered through the leaves. The nervous man warned of an impending event, only for Kim Taeju to calmly reiterate his advice to stay close, leaving the man utterly baffled. Kim Taeju casually revealed the true nature of their peril, a horrifying beast whose titanic claw shook the very earth upon impact. He concluded his grim announcement of a magic beast ambush, just as a fearsome, red-eyed wolf-like creature emerged from the shadows. The man's face contorted with unspeakable terror, his voice catching on the monstrous creature's name. A red-furred wolf lunged, its terrifying growl igniting a panicked scramble as the team was thrown into disarray. Kim Taeju, calmly reassuring his terrified companion, casually excused himself despite the man's desperate plea to flee. Kim Taeju's internal assessment confirmed the red-furred wolf's formidable nature, a beast demanding a regular rank awakener to even contend with. The wolf's sheer power was daunting, but Kim Taeju knew its true horror lay elsewhere, as a scream erupted amidst crushing sounds. Kim Taeju's chilling realization that the beasts hunted in pairs struck a chord of dismay just as one team member confirmed the terrible truth. The woman's terrified cry accompanied the man's desperate, fierce attack as he slashed his sword with grim determination. With blinding speed, the red-furred wolf effortlessly evaded the desperate assault. His face contorted in disbelief, the man stammered, demanding frantic orders after his attack was so easily sidestepped. A frustrated cry escaped him as Kwon Dong-suk shamelessly abandoned a terrified teammate and fled into the forest. The woman shrieked in absolute panic at the sight of two wolves, but the man sternly declared they would revert to their usual ruthless strategy. The man, devoid of empathy, chillingly revealed their plan to sacrifice the porters as bait, a grim revelation met with Kim Taeju's silent, ominous observation. As the two red-furred wolves snarled, their presence intensifying, the desperate team members pleaded for Kim Taeju to finally act. With a chilling resolve, Kim Taeju responded by drawing his glowing dagger, signaling his imminent intervention. Kim Taeju moved with impossible speed, unleashing the devastating dagger art, one flash, in a blur of green energy. The attack landed with a sickening, definitive thud. A surge of green energy struck its target squarely in the face, eliciting a visceral grimace of pain. A decisive, crushing blow resonated through the air, completing the swift, deadly assault. A thunderous crack echoed through the forest, startling birds and shaking the very leaves from the trees. The man's face twisted in utter, speechless astonishment at the incomprehensible events unfolding before him. Kim Taeju's thoughts condemned their vile cowardice, abandoning allies and sacrificing the weak, even as the wolf ravaged the fleeing, screaming figures below. Engulfed in a menacing green aura, Kim Taeju declared his profound hatred for those who crushed the weak to preserve their own wretched lives. A blood-curdling shriek tore from the man as he clutched his bleeding ear, writhing in agonizing pain. His eyes widened in absolute, stunned disbelief at the horrific injury. He stared in utter bewilderment at the lifeless form of the red-furred wolf, unable to fathom when the deadly blow had been struck. The man with the short brown beard gaped in profound shock, struggling to comprehend how Kim Taeju had vanquished the wolf in a single, devastating strike. The remaining red-furred wolf snarled, its crimson eyes blazing with an unsettling blend of fury and pain. Kim Taeju's boot landed with a powerful thud, his curt command silencing the questions with an undeniable, menacing authority. Kim Taeju, radiating dangerous green energy, issued a chilling warning to the intimidated beast, move, and face instant death. His green eyes blazing, Kim Taeju turned his serious, probing gaze on his companions, demanding to know if their cowardice was a lifelong habit. Kim Taeju's sharp question cut through the air, highlighting their reprehensible practice of sacrificing the vulnerable when faced with peril. Covered in blood, the man roared his twisted ideology, defiantly claiming the weak were merely fodder for the awakened. A chilling comprehension settled over Kim Taeju, acknowledging the man's brutal philosophy. His eyes glowed with menacing green light as Kim Taeju vowed they would suffer the very fate they inflicted on others. With brutal efficiency, Kim Taeju hurled his screaming companions off the cliff, delivering them as unwilling bait to the waiting wolf. From above, Kim Taeju issued a single, chilling command for them to fight. The man, bloodied and grappling with another, stared up in shocked disbelief at the harsh command. From his serene perch, Kim Taeju calmly instructed them to dispatch the remaining wolf, having already dealt with its mate. The enraged man, shaking with fury, screamed threats at Kim Taeju, daring him to challenge an awaken's authority. The woman's desperate plea for salvation was brutally cut short by the man in the brown vest, who silenced her with a harsh insult. A searing green projectile struck the man in the head, eliciting a visceral scream of pain. As another blow landed, Kim Taeju coldly declared that since human words failed them, their ears were no longer necessary. His green eyes flared as Kim Taeju sternly reiterated the undeniable truth: he was the porter, they were the combatants. Kim Taeju's mocking question hung in the air, a cruel reminder of their vanished arrogance. From his calm vantage point, Kim Taeju delivered his final, ruthless command: they would fight. Kim Taeju, utterly self-assured, issued a chilling command for them to fight. A collective cry of disbelief erupted as the shadowy orc clawed its way into their grim reality. A bloodied man, fueled by sheer defiance, spat back his challenge with a visceral crack of his jaw. Kim Taeju, still composed, remarked on their lack of options as a monstrous roar echoed, shaking the very earth. A desperate cry to scatter tore through the air, their last hope shattering against the incoming threat. A crushing thwack stole the breath from his lungs, leaving only a white-hot agony. The brutal impact sent him spinning, helpless against the force. Engulfed in agony, the man lashed out with a desperate, impotent threat against the damn porter. His defiant rage turned to a final, gasping thud as the crushing force claimed him. Her terrified screams ripped through the air, a desperate plea for flight against the looming horror. The monstrous foe lunged, a whirlwind of malice closing in on its prey. Her world compressed to a single, agonizing scream of pure, unadulterated terror. A guttural snarl promised nothing but a swift, horrific end. The creature's primal hunger burned, reflected in its malevolent gaze. Every fiber of its being radiated pure, untamed aggression. A frantic gasp preceded his panicked warning that the monster was closing in. With casual indifference, Kim Tae-ju mused on the consequence of their lingering presence. His eyes blazing with potent energy, Kim Tae-ju disdainfully mocked their foolish new bravado, dismissing their entire existence. "Can't be helped," Kim Tae-ju declared with a decisive stomp. "Then die," Kim Tae-ju commanded, unleashing a torrent of destructive power with a deafening thud. The monstrous orc shrieked as it was consumed by the devastating emerald blast. The sheer might of the blood-venom twin palm manifested as a swirling, awe-inspiring vortex, whirling with destructive potential. The devastating green current tore through the forest, leaving a swathe of ruin in its wake. Profound disbelief warped his mind. How could such immense power belong to a mere porter? Amongst the somber stillness of the fallen, a chilling question began to form: had Kim Tae-ju merely been hiding his true, terrifying power all along? Kim Tae-ju found the exertion refreshing, a stark contrast to the other man's dawning, terrifying realization of what he had just witnessed. Before Kim Tae-ju could even finish his question, the man dramatically collapsed with a pleading thud, begging for his life. Kim Tae-ju, with a feigned innocent smile and a casual head scratch, questioned the absurdity of such a thought. A fragile spark of hope flickered within him, daring to question his imminent doom. Kim Tae-ju's concern was met with a comical stand and frantic denials of any injury, no matter how severe. Relieved, Kim Tae-ju inquired about a favor, to which the man eagerly pledged his unquestioning assistance. His smile turned sinister as he casually brought up the day's unsettling events. His body began to tremble, quickly feigning utter ignorance of everything that had just transpired. Kim Tae-ju offered a gracious thanks, and the man eagerly agreed to descend, eager to put distance between them and the recent horrors. 3 lifeless forms lay strewn, grim monuments to the day's brutal reckoning. As Kim Tae-ju walked, his inner thoughts coldly rationalized the deaths, while the man behind him uttered a nervous shiver about the sudden chill. His resolute steps resonated with a firm stomp, reinforcing his unyielding conviction that those who use the weak as shields deserve nothing less than death. The grand headquarters of the Yuri-san Monster Defense Corps, under the Imperial Army, now loomed. A cool, institutional sign simply designated the meeting room. A furious fist pounded the table, utterly baffled by their plummeting sales. The speaker bitterly attributed their downfall to Kim Tae-ju's meteoric success and the undeniable draw of Vak's drug shop. Lee Gil-ho, seething with frustration, lamented their inaction, wishing they had crushed the upstart shop long ago. Oh Nam-bok, with calm authority, recounted their market dominance before pointedly asking why Vak's drug shop remained untouchable. Lee Gil-ho, boiling with resentment, blamed the Autonomous Committee's protection of Baek Hongpyo's charade of public support. Oh Nam-bok calmly pressed for solutions, igniting Lee Gil-ho's fury into a heated exchange. Jo Hun-sik, with an authoritative clap, gently interceded, accustomed to their predictable bickering. With a knowing sigh, Jo Hun-sik urged honesty, revealing YJ's own failure to underscore their shared strategic predicament. Confirming their collective defeat, Jo Hun-sik revealed that all major players had failed to replicate the elusive drug. With a resolute hiss of determination, Oh Nam-bok insisted their eventual success was merely a matter of time. An impatient pound underscored Lee Gil-ho's desperate warning that their businesses would collapse if they simply waited. With a calculating, smug smile, Jo Hun-sik suggested they revert to their time-honored, aggressive strategies. Lee Gil-ho's smug grin betrayed his eager anticipation for the next conniving step, asking about the completed investigation. With a knowing "heh," Jo Hun-sik pressed a button, the soft click signaling an impending revelation. The screen displayed Kim Tae-ju's official dossier, antidote developer, 29, and eldest son of Brigadier General Kim Woong-bang. Oh Nam-bok gasped, suddenly apprehensive, targeting the son of a brigadier general, a master, seemed dangerously reckless. Jo Hun-sik chuckled, dismissing the data as mere surface-level details before promising to unveil the true, darker story. The confidential report laid bare Kim Tae-ju's vulnerabilities: a man a reject, disowned, and with half-siblings who wished him dead. Lee Gil-ho chortled with smug satisfaction, identifying Kim Tae-ju's fractured family as a clear point of exploitation. Oh Nam-bok outlined a predatory strategy: outbid Baek Hongpyo to seize the antidote's distribution rights. With a chilling, self-satisfied sigh, Jo Hun-sik outlined the ruthless alternative: proceed as usual, and perhaps spill some blood along the way. The grand headquarters of the Yuri-san Monster Defense Corps, under the Imperial Army, now loomed. A formal knock echoed, and a voice granted terse permission to enter. A sharp salute accompanied the officer's declaration, as Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang pressed for news of the investigation. With a discreet slide, the officer presented a folder, confirming information obtained from the Guri Autonomous Committee. Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang absorbed the data, his thoughts already turning to the strategic implications of a man-reject son of a fellow general. He reflected on past supply struggles, now seeing Kim Tae-ju's familial ties as a fortunate, strategic opening for their needs. A decisive tap accompanied his thought: securing the antidote could enable a critical, large-scale purge. His conviction solidified. Lieutenant General Oh Jin-hyung commanded immediate contact with Paiyu territory, certain the father-son bond would guarantee their critical supplies. The vast, open expanse of the Paiyu domain stretched towards a modern city, a stark stage for upcoming events. Exterminate, an unseen voice echoed through an imposing, ornate chamber, solidifying a grim command. The phone receiver clicked into place, sealing the ruthless decision. Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang's face, etched in shadow, offered a sly smirk as he mused on the potential for even the weakest to retaliate. The woman in red dress with hair up in a bun voiced her disbelief, wondering when Tae-ju, once too frail for college, had acquired such unexpected capabilities. Driven by urgent worry, the woman in red dress with hair up in a bun resolved to travel to Guri immediately, fearing Tae-ju's inexperience would make him easy prey. Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang's stern gaze delivered an uncompromising order: Tae-ju was to be left alone. A chilling revelation pierced the warm study air. Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang declared Tae-ju disowned, severed from their family registry, and no longer his son. Her voice raw with frustration, the woman in red dress with hair up in a bun pleaded, insisting that blood ties could not be so easily broken, demanding they help him. As her angry accusations intensified, a dark question escaped Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang's lips, revealing the horrifying truth of an assassination request against Tae-ju. A clenched fist remained steadfast, backing the cold assertion that even if Tae-ju knew, Jang In-dong's death had erased all evidence. Desperation contorted the woman in red dress with hair up in a bun's face as she screamed, pleading for him to leverage Tae-ju for the military's antidote, hinting at a promotion for himself. Her furious words hammered at Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang, questioning their precarious financial future and the neglect of their other sons, demanding he acknowledge Tae-ju's importance. Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang's interlocked hands strained, his voice dripping with strained frustration as he challenged her to face Tae-ju herself. With an unyielding resolve, Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang reiterated his absolute refusal to engage with his estranged son. A primal, guttural cry of pure frustration tore from her lips. With a defiant snap, the woman in red dress with hair up in a bun declared her independence, choosing her own path in the face of his defeated silence. A sudden, bright burst of light erupted from the door as she forcefully departed. The door creaked open, a thin sliver of outside light promising an unknown arrival. Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang let out a weary sigh, his resentment coloring his sarcastic musing about Tae-ju's unexpected, thriving existence in Guri. A subtly sinister smirk twisted Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang's lips, his words a venomous mockery of relief. The bustling heart of Guri Market thrummed with vibrant energy, a lively contrast to the earlier tension. The chic facade of Flame Boutique glowed, a stylish beacon drawing in potential patrons. Rows of meticulously tailored suits hung, radiating a quiet air of sophisticated elegance. An excited affirmation burst from the woman with long red hair, wearing a white jacket, her prediction about Taiju's new look confirmed. Her confident smile bestowed a warm, genuine compliment, praising the coat's fit. Kim Tae-ju acknowledged the praise, appreciating the distinct quality of a coat crafted from monster byproducts. A deep satisfaction settled over Kim Tae-ju as he detailed the coat's unparalleled lightness, defense, temperature control, and discreet gray hue. His fingers discovered a practical pleasure in the hidden, ample storage space, likely for his clandestine arsenal. The woman with long red hair, wearing a white jacket's curious question probed his identity, suspecting an awaken given his arsenal, and Kim Tae-ju offered a deliberately vague confirmation. Kim Tae-ju's insistence on paying met the woman with long red hair, wearing a white jacket's firm refusal, who declared the priceless coat a debt of life-saving gratitude. Concern flickered across Kim Tae-ju's face, realizing he might have inadvertently caused the boutique owner an awkward predicament by taking a reserved item. Her confident smile melted his worry, assuring him that Lady Jong Yeonhui had received a replacement, all concerns neatly resolved. With arms crossed, Kim Tae-ju stood thoughtfully, his mind clearly turning towards an unexpected decision. With a dramatic sweep of his hand, Kim Tae-ju declared he would buy out an entire section, leaving the woman with long red hair, wearing a white jacket utterly astounded. A confident, benevolent smirk played on his lips as Kim Tae-ju explained his dual purpose, a generous gift for orphans and a boost for her business. With a warm, slightly overwhelmed smile, she gracefully accepted his extraordinary generosity, obliging his request to prepare the purchases. As she departed, the woman in red dress with hair up in a bun's thoughts painted Kim Tae-ju as a uniquely kind awakened, a stark contrast to others she had encountered. A sudden, sharp chime announced an abrupt and unwelcome intrusion. The entrance of the YJ Pharmacy representative shattered the calm, his words a determined declaration of a long-sought confrontation with Kim Tae-ju. His polished shoes advanced with resolute, unhesitating steps, a clear intent guiding his approach. Cho Hun-suk, the representative of YJ Pharmacy, extended a business card with a broadly formal, yet subtly assertive, smile. Kim Tae-ju met the overture with wary silence, his guarded gaze betraying his unimpressed stance. Cho Hun-suk's amused smirk twisted into a subtly challenging taunt, mocking Kim Tae-ju's evident discomfort and refusal to engage. Kim Tae-ju's voice cut directly to the chase, demanding to know Cho Hun-suk's purpose and how he had so skillfully tracked him down. With a confident smirk, Cho Hun-suk boasted of his association's omnipresent knowledge, then bluntly steered the conversation towards a thinly veiled request for a favor. His eyes narrowed with an insistent, unblinking demand. He wanted the mosquito venom antidote for his company. A challenging smirk played on Kim Tae-ju's lips as he discerningly questioned the true nature of the favor. Cho Hun-suk's conciliatory gesture met Kim Tae-ju's unwavering, abrupt refusal, escalating their exchange into an immediate standoff. Kim Tae-ju, resolute in his principles, rejected the generous monetary offer, refusing to compromise his honor for mere profit. Cho Hun-suk, growing insistent, escalated his offer to 5 billion for the formula, only to be met by Kim Tae-ju's unimpressed, challenging dismissal of the sum. Cho Hun-suk's jaw clenched, his face contorted in a grimace of simmering, barely suppressed frustration. With a veiled threat about Gyuri's challenges, Cho Hun-suk strode away, dismissed by Kim Tae-ju's calm assurance of self-sufficiency and a curt farewell. The woman with long red hair, wearing a white jacket's chibi concern over his visitor was met with Kim Tae-ju's dismissive, charming chibi smile about a mere peddler. Cho Hun-suk, seething with vengeful fury, tapped furiously on his phone, vowing that Kim Tae-ju would soon regret his stubborn defiance. A determined voice affirmed the command, ready to commence the work with practiced, serious efficiency. Under a sky painted with grand, vibrant hues, Kim Tae-ju's villa construction site buzzed with industrious activity on the outskirts of Gyuri City. Warm light illuminated the rustling blueprints, signaling meticulous administrative work in progress. With a broad, cheerful smile, Kim Tae-ju announced his arrival at the construction site, his arms laden with unexpected generosity. The man with beard's warm smile conveyed his welcoming curiosity about the numerous packages Kim Tae-ju now carried. Kim Taeju's words, explaining his generous gift of clothes for the children, left the man with beard speechless with touched surprise. Tears welled in the man with beard's eyes, a deeply emotional testament to profound gratitude. With heartfelt, ecstatic reverence, the man with beard hailed Kim Taeju as a saint, pledging boundless future efforts in return for such unforgettable kindness. Kim Taeju's broad smile radiated a quiet, joyful satisfaction that his gifts were so well received. The man with beard showered Kim Taeju with grateful thanks for the smooth construction, prompting Kim Taeju to decisively accept an earlier, unmentioned proposal. A hopeful anticipation lit the man with beard's face as he inquired if Kim Taeju had at last settled on his decision. With resolute clarity, Kim Taeju explained that his encounter with the YJ Pharmacy representative had paradoxically solidified his resolve. The man with beard's expression shifted to surprised concern, his voice laced with worry as he asked if the visitor had attempted harm. Kim Taeju calmly shrugged off the threat, reflecting that the encounter served as a sharp reminder of the vulnerability inherent in lacking power. With determined resolve, Kim Taeju committed to establishing the pharmaceutical company, securing the man with beard's happy, collaborative support for the future endeavor. Kim Taeju, with a slight smile, entrusted the construction's completion to the man with beard, then casually dropped the surprising news of his imminent, temporary departure. His gaze determined and purposeful, Kim Taeju revealed his true intention, to dedicate himself to developing new medicine before the company's official launch. The ancient wisdom unfolded, revealing the potent, primordial chaos absolute poison spirit art, a creation forged by the legendary Tang Gun-ak himself. This art wove together the foundational, 5 elements Qigong, with insights from countless other martial ways, culminating in a formidable sequence of 10 distinct stages. From poison spirit creation to the profound realm, each stage demanded mastery of specific techniques, marking a clear path from a second-rate to a truly transcendent practitioner. Beyond the 10th stage lay enlightenment, a perilous journey to awaken one's poison spirit, the sole key to unlocking the devastating rain of myriad flowers technique. Such was its might that Tang Gun-ak himself had once dissolved the very ruler of the demonic cult, the heavenly demon, with his toxic arts, leaving only ruin in his wake. A gentle breeze rustled through the verdant canopy, marking the serene, yet dangerous, expanse of the empty demonic beast appearance zone. Then, with a deafening crash, a raw, emerald energy beam ripped through the tranquility, gouging a potent scar into the earth. Kim Taeju, wreathed in blinding green energy, launched himself with predatory grace towards the snarling, monstrous form of a demonic beast. A sharp, focused intake of breath filled Kim Taeju's lungs, fueling the surge of power within. With a violent rend, the weapon plunged deep into its flesh, igniting a blinding surge of emerald energy. A thunderous impact sent the monstrous creature hurtling through the air, utterly overwhelmed. The colossal beast lay dead, its immense weight thudding against the forest floor as Kim Taeju stood quietly victorious. Kim Taeju let out a low sigh, musing on the ironic misnomer of the poison claw leopard cat, a creature larger than any tiger he'd ever encountered. Kim Taeju's steps echoed with faint power as he reflected on the formidable resilience of its hide, a toughness that had barely yielded to his honed weapons and internal energy. Kim Taeju settled beside the fallen creature, determined to overcome his current, shameful, third stage by absorbing the vile poisons of Emptyiri's demonic beasts. Kim Taeju's hand plunged inside with a visceral pull, extracting a massive, glowing poison gland, a familiar process that felt less like a struggle and more like a rigorous review of Tang Gun-ak's teachings. Groaning, Kim Taeju lay back to absorb the vile essence, convinced that his foundational enlightenment meant rapid growth would follow, consuming new poisons like a hungry flame. A guttural groan escaped Kim Taeju as green energy swirled, feeling his body finally stabilize, ready to surge past the third stage where he had been frustratingly stuck. With a decisive wipe of his mouth and a glint in his emerald eyes, Kim Taeju set his mind on the next formidable challenge, the spore poison water deer. A sudden, horrified realization struck Kim Taeju as he scrambled to retrieve his invaluable daggers from the beast, fretting, do you know how much these cost? A gentle groan escaped Kim Tae-ju as his senses reached out, detecting the presence of a docile spore poison water deer, grazing peacefully nearby. Its small, deer-like form was distinctive, marked by the two prominent humps on its back, a unique and surprising feature. With a blur of motion, both Kim Tae-ju and the creature surged through the forest, a silent chase under the dappled light. For all its docility, this creature held a terrifying secret: upon its death, its humps would burst with a violent pop. From the gaping wound, countless microscopic, highly toxic spores erupted, instantly choking the air with a deadly, purple haze. Undeterred by the creeping, hazardous cloud of purple spores, Kim Tae-ju moved calmly through the now poisoned forest. Kim Tae-ju observed a single purple spore resting on his finger, contemplating the legendary poison that could melt gas mask filters and lingered for an hour in the open air. Recognizing this as the strongest poison yet, a sizzling determination flared within Kim Tae-ju. He would not let such precious poison chi go to waste, actively drawing it in. Kim Tae-ju roared, unleashing a maelstrom of green and purple energy as he forcefully compelled himself to focus, the forest vibrating with his raw power. His emerald eyes blazed with fierce concentration, his face a mask of straining effort as he wrestled the swirling energies into submission. With a low hum, the chaotic poison chi coalesced and condensed into a luminous, stable green orb of concentrated power. With a deep, resonating groan, Kim Tae-ju reached out, drawing the potent orb into his very being. Every muscle strained, his teeth gritted in a silent battle as Kim Tae-ju commanded the primordial chaos absolute poison spirit art to transmute the raw poison into pure internal energy. A soft hum vibrated through Kim Tae-ju's core as he meditated, meticulously integrating the formidable new energy. Kim Tae-ju wondered how many hours had passed in this profound circulation, pleased that every last trace of the water deer's dispersed poison had been thoroughly absorbed. Though the sheer volume made conversion challenging, Kim Tae-ju breathed a confident sigh. He now understood the poison's intricate components, making antidote development a sudden breeze. With a grim resolve etched onto his face, Kim Tae-ju vowed to exploit Earth's myriad poisons, far exceeding Murim's variety, to accelerate his ascent to power. Before, Kim Tae-ju had known such humiliating weakness, lying defeated amidst the debris, and he vowed to never allow that powerlessness again. Kim Tae-ju recalled a past vulnerability, being comforted by others, and the emphatic vow echoed in his mind: never again would he be so utterly dependent. With a soft hum, Kim Tae-ju carefully refined the glowing green orb within his hands, preparing for the momentous breakthrough. With a definitive click, the cultivation was complete. Kim Tae-ju had finally reached the fourth stage. A soft hum of contentment surrounded Kim Tae-ju as he calmly noted the considerable time his training had ultimately required. A relieved stretch finally eased Kim Tae-ju's weary muscles, feeling utterly refreshed after his arduous work. Kim Tae-ju mused on his unexpectedly long stay at Mtyiri, a period that had not only brought him to the fourth stage but also revealed the precise antidote ingredients for the spore poison water deer. With a confident shift of his shoulders, Kim Tae-ju looked back one last time, a hopeful resolve to finally head back. As Kim Tae-ju strode away, silhouetted against the fading light, a subtle anxiety gnawed at him regarding YJ Pharmacy, intensified by his prolonged absence. A soft click broke the night silence as the scene shifted to an urban pharmacy, bathed in the dim glow of streetlights. Kim Tae-ju's large backpack landed with a soft thud on a wooden pallet inside the quiet building. With a polite clap of his hands, Kim Tae-ju greeted Mr. Beck, a calm smile belying any lingering worries. Noticing the empty shelves, Kim Tae-ju cheerfully assumed business was booming, unaware of the worried glances exchanged between the two employees. The man with bald head and apron, Beck, expressed profound relief at Kim Tae-ju's return after half a month, yet also a deep concern over his unreachable phone. The woman with short dark hair and apron, her brow furrowed with recent worry, offered a quiet welcome back to Kim Tae-ju. Kim Tae-ju apologized for his phone's silence, explaining his training, but then a genuine concern tightened his expression as he questioned the palpable distress radiating from them. The man with bald head and apron began a grim explanation. The pharmaceutical company had abruptly cut off their supply, systematically stripping their shelves bare. His voice dropped with grave concern, revealing that the Autonomous Committee's Drug Authorization Department was now demanding their antidote's ingredient list for an investigation into alleged side effects. Kim Tae-ju's jaw clenched, an ominous suspicion immediately seizing him. This could only be Cho Hun-suk's doing. The man with bald head and apron confirmed his fears, noting the insidious tactics were unmistakably Cho Hun-suk's signature, further complicated by his position on the Autonomous Committee. Kim Tae-ju quietly questioned the fallout of withholding the ingredient list, to which the grim reply came, a devastating sales ban. Arms crossed, Kim Tae-ju pondered if even the Empire's standing commissioner was complicit, realizing with a grim hum that Cho Hun-suk's calculated attacks were truly just beginning. Kim Tae-ju's eyes blazed with a fierce, emerald light, his jaw clenched as he vowed to break their expectations, to compromise for neither himself nor Tang Gun-ak, deciding instead to simply beat them down. Kim Tae-ju turned to Mr. Beck, his voice sharp with sudden determination, declaring they should strike first and force their adversaries to make their threats truly meaningful. Mr. Beck stared back, utterly bewildered by Kim Tae-ju's unexpected call to strike first. A mischievous smirk spread across Kim Tae-ju's face as he suggested a countermove. If they claimed the antidote caused side effects, then they would simply stop selling it right now. A cool, quiet darkness settled over Beck's orphanage, where steam rose gently from behind the building beneath the silent crescent moon. The air soon filled with a low murmur, anticipating a gathering around a grand, roasted leg of meat. The orphanage buzzed with warmth as adults and children alike shared a lively evening barbecue, everyone happily eating the generous portions. Kim Tae-ju, utterly focused, brought a forkful of the savory meat to his mouth. Then, a sudden, almost electric realization sparked through Kim Tae-ju, halting him mid-chew. A fantastical burst of delight washed over Kim Tae-ju, his senses overwhelmed by the meat's unparalleled taste. This was the legendary spore poison water deer, a delicacy rumored to be the best in the Empire, its toxicity so severe that any corpse was simply left to rot. This rare, exquisite meat, impossibly obtained even with vast riches, had been monopolized solely by the imperial emperor himself. Kim Tae-ju, eyes glittering with triumph, beamed with profound satisfaction, declaring his decision to create the water deer antidote had been the right call. His initial intent had been to protect civilians from the water deer's agonizing poison, but the horrifying screams of victims still echoed with a visceral dread. The orphanage residents, captivated by the amazing flavor, couldn't get enough, leading Kim Tae-ju to muse playfully about selling the water deer meat himself. He imagined supplying the emperor and, perhaps, even encountering the legendary swordsmanship of the revered Grand Master. An abrupt ahem from the man with bald head and apron snapped Kim Tae-ju back to reality. The man expressed profound gratitude to Kim Tae-ju for providing such precious meat. A wave of awe washed over the man as he realized the new medicine was none other than the terrifying water deer antidote. Yet, a flicker of worry crossed the man's face as he questioned the wisdom of closing the pharmacy, only for Kim Tae-ju to calmly dismiss his concerns. Kim Tae-ju simply continued eating, advising the man to trust his judgment and wait. With a confident smirk, Kim Tae-ju unveiled his shrewd strategy, highlighting the paradox that without the antidote, their adversaries would suffer the most. The scene shifted to a bright city street, where the pharmacy stood conspicuously closed. A man in full armor roared in frustration. 5 days passed, and the pharmacy remained shut, leaving hunters critically low on antidotes. Rumors swirled through the murmuring crowd about adverse reactions, the committee's demands, and President Beck's forced closure under pressure. The armored man trembled with indignant rage, vehemently defending Beck's medicine and its proven efficacy. Lee Jung-hak abruptly intervened, his hand cutting through the air with a sharp command. The armored man was suddenly, forcefully pushed back, startled by the unseen impact. Lee Jung-hak, stern and authoritative with his sheathed sword, warned the crowd against disturbances, eliciting surprised recognition from the armored man. The crowd murmured with suspicion, questioning the militia captain's presence and hinting at his potential ties to YJ and the committee. Lee Jung-hak, standing firm, officially declared the Standing Committee's decision, an immediate sales prohibition on Beck's antidote due to alleged side effects. The armored man erupted in furious protest, citing his own successful clinical trial and demanding how they were expected to hunt without the antidote. The agitated crowd joined in, demanding proof of side effects or a return to sales, challenging Lee Jung-hak's perceived indifference. From the sidelines, Kim Tae-ju observed the growing unrest with an enigmatic smirk. Kim Tae-ju's unspoken fury, manifested by glowing red eyes, caused the armored man to flinch instinctively. Lee Jung-hak, scowling with dismissive annoyance, ordered the crowd to disperse, inwardly cursing the annoying task assigned to him by a majority vote. The armored man glanced around, bewildered, as the murmuring crowd reluctantly began to disperse. But raid team leader Park Jin-soo stood firm, defiantly declaring his refusal to leave. Lee Jung-hak's eyes glowed with menacing power as he began to draw his sword, challenging the defiant man to back up his insolence. Raid team leader Park Jin-soo, utterly terrified, quickly apologized and scurried away, abandoning his defiant stance. With a quiet click, Lee Jung-hak sheathed his sword, expressing annoyance at the unnecessary display. Lee Jung-hak's gaze hardened, his thoughts turning to Jo Hun-sik, the true manipulator of the Standing Committee, whom he vowed to deal with soon. A white car drove past, signaling Kim Tae-ju's off-panel voice. Kim Tae-ju, a sinister smirk playing on his lips, praised the person on the other end of the line for neutralizing even the formidable Lee Jung-hak. The voice on the phone calmly explained Lee Jung-hak's limited influence, stating that as long as the chairman and he were present, majority rule would always prevail. Kim Tae-ju, still smirking, agreed that with the masters kept quiet, the situation would resolve quickly, confirming their next operation had already begun. The voice on the phone promised a grand reward, confident that the pharmacy would not last a week without an unexpected stroke of luck, as Kim Tae-ju watched Lee Jung-hak walk away. A nameplate proudly announced the office of Lieutenant General Oh Jin-hyung. Inside, Lieutenant General Oh Jin-hyung, seated on a couch, directed a question to the young man in uniform. Kim Tae-ju confidently proposed a deal, supplying 1 million units to the Yuri-san Monster Defense Corps for a total of 50 billion won. Lieutenant General Oh Jin-hyung, commander of the Yuri-san Monster Defense Corps, listened with formidable intensity. Oh Jin-hyung gasped, his glowing purple eyes intensifying at the mention of 50 billion. Kim Tae-ju gulped, a flicker of anxiety crossing his mind, wondering if the standard pricing bothered the general. The unidentified male character with orange hair chuckled, assuring Kim Tae-ju that the corps commander was actually in a very good mood, despite his dark aura. Oh Jin-hyung, his expression curious, questioned the profitability of the deal, finding the price surprisingly low. Kim Tae-ju could only sweat in baffled confusion at the general's unexpected comment. Oh Jin-hyung asked his adjutant if the Corps' reserve funds could cover the 50 billion, receiving a prompt affirmative. Oh Jin-hyung immediately ordered half the amount transferred as a deposit, but Kim Tae-ju smoothly interjected, hinting at another element to their deal. When Oh Jin-hyung asked if the mosquito poison antidote was his only product, Kim Tae-ju revealed he had developed a new medicine for his soon-to-be-established company. Kim Tae-ju presented a wrapped package, inviting them to try his latest medicine. Oh Jin-hyung's face registered surprise as he looked at the contents of the package. Oh Jin-hyung identified the contents as meat, and Kim Tae-ju confirmed it was a special gift for the lieutenant general. Despite his confusion, Oh Jin-hyung, a toothpick now in his mouth, praised the meat, admitting he had been cutting back on it for health reasons. Oh Jin-hyung then suggested Kim Tae-ju present it to the emperor, predicting immense satisfaction, but Kim Tae-ju, with a smug smile, revealed it was spore poison water deer meat. The young man in military uniform gasped, his eyes wide with explosive realization, recognizing the legendary water deer meat and its heavenly taste. Kim Tae-ju simply smirked, offering a silent nod of confirmation as he sipped his tea. Oh Jin-hyung, his eyes glowing intensely, praised Kim Tae-ju's rare qualities, stating the military needed him, and directly proposed his re-enlistment. In a surge of frustrated green aura, Kim Tae-ju's chibi form internally pondered the drastic option of simply eliminating Oh Jin-hyung. The Yuri-san demonic beast defense legion stood sentinel in the remote, swirling outskirts of the Samhan Empire. Their solemn duty was to control the encroaching demonic beast waves, a mission that once plunged the newly appointed commander into the depths of despair, for success barely brought even, while failure meant ruin. Yet, bathed in the light of a new dawn, the commander felt an opportunity, long awaited, finally unfold before him. A quiet chuckle escaped his lips as the words, "Water Deer Antidote," resonated, hinting at a promising, lucrative path. From the subdued light of the office, a young adjutant crisply reported that all financial transfers and instructions had been meticulously executed. He revealed the new trade deal blossomed from conflict with the Pharmacy Association, announcing tomorrow's headlines would trumpet the antidote contract and the thrilling water deer hunt. With calm authority, the commander praised his adjutant, entrusting him with Kim Tae-ju's subtle guidance and unwavering support. A soft smile touched his lips as he acknowledged the steadfast loyalty shown even through his darkest, most isolated times. At the unexpected acknowledgement, the young man's eyes welled, a choked sniffle revealing the heavy weight of his past hardships finally lifted. Then, a sudden rush of realization sparked a mutual shout, each officer calling the other's rank in startled urgency. A glowing, determined hand snatched at something unseen, a surge of power radiating from its grasp. He enveloped his adjutant in a decisive embrace, outlining their ascent to the imperial court, a grand vision the young man pledged to follow faithfully. Off-panel cheers for Kim Tae-ju echoed, fueling the young man's triumphant laughter that bounced off the stark corridor walls. The scene shifted to Kim Tae-ju's luxurious, modern residence, a sprawling architectural marvel nestled serenely among verdant hills. Even from an unseen room, the smooth progression of the new company's establishment was already well underway. The man in white declared company setup nearly complete, needing only a name, as the man with short dark hair offered sincere thanks for the meticulous effort. A confident smile graced his lips as he mused on the military contract's success, crediting Lieutenant General O for smoothly paving their profitable path. He tapped the newspaper, revealing Lieutenant General O's subtle genius in leaking the contract and new drug development, a strategic move befitting a commander. The man in white asked if the influx of funds had settled their debts, receiving confirmation that the 25 billion won down payment had promptly cleared their loans. A shiver of vindictive satisfaction ran through him as he recounted cutting ties and accounts with a particularly spiteful bank. With a kindly smile, he affirmed the action and instructed that the remaining funds be wholly dedicated to the orphanage's welfare. He mused, realizing the immense solitude of running a company. A reliable helper, not just a manager, was an absolute necessity for this ambitious venture. The man with short dark hair then extended a startling offer, a partnership, prompting an immediate, incredulous, "What?" from the man in white. Doubts flickered across the man in white's face, citing his humble pharmacy experience, but the other quickly countered, dismissing his misgivings outright. He strategically admitted his limitations, confessing his aptitude lay only in creation, not in the complexities of sales, rendering the director's help indispensable. A flattered smile spread across the man in white's face, such confidence in him made agreement, despite his perceived humble stature, an easy choice. A voice proposed a 9:1 share split, favoring Tae-ju for the impending company, only to be met with a swift, unequivocal rejection. He decisively demanded a 7:3 share split, emphasizing Director Beck's deep involvement was critical, and without it, the company simply wouldn't materialize. Though gratefully accepting the split, the man in white announced he wouldn't manage it, surprising Kim Tae-ju by revealing a more capable individual from the orphanage. Baek Seo-yeon, a figure of quiet intensity clutching a box, was confirmed as the capable choice, her presence dimly recalled by the man with short dark hair. With a confident gesture, he proudly proclaimed Baek Seo-yeon the smartest of his children, eager to call her in immediately. A knowing grin touched the man's lips, welcoming any capable individual, understanding the true power of the director's 2 decades nurturing a network of former orphans. A firm handshake sealed their pact, affirming the man with short dark hair's certainty that partnering with Director Beck was an inspired choice. A company name, Taehong Bio, sprang to mind, and the man in white excitedly agreed to register the blend of Taeju and Hongpyo's names at once. He casually added that an awakened and an adapter, both former orphanage residents, had already been summoned. His brow furrowed in confusion, questioning the sudden and unexpected reason for their presence. The man in white explained they were to be Kim Taeju's personal guards against physical threats, particularly from Cho Hun-suk, leaving Kim Taeju visibly surprised. With a confident smile, Kim Taeju waved off the protection, redirecting it to the orphanage, an ironic thought on who was truly protecting whom dancing in his mind. A sweat drop formed as the man in white pondered, deeply perplexed by the mysterious wellspring of Kim Taeju's boundless confidence. He mused, tracing the faint outline of Kim Taeju's past, no awakened pattern, perhaps an adapter at best, or was his soldier past the sole bedrock of such audacious confidence? A flicker of intense perception burned within Kim Taeju's eye, silently processing the unfolding dynamics. Kim Taeju playfully accused the man in white of renewed doubt, startling him into an emphatic, almost desperate, denial of his unwavering trust. A smooth gesture as Kim Taeju reached for his coat, acknowledging the words with quiet understanding, poised for action. Then, a sudden, firm command to summon the friends startled the man in white, eliciting a bewildered "What? Why?" As he donned his coat with fluid grace, Kim Taeju declared his dual purpose, to prove his mettle and to rigorously test the potent spore venom antidote. A confident smile set his features as he announced his intention to embark on a challenging hunt with his new companions. The majestic Yurisan demonic beast border zone unfolded before them, a vibrant expanse of lush mountains bathed in the clear, brilliant light of day. With purposeful steps echoing through the serene forest path, the group ventured deeper, sunlight dappling their determined progress. One man gasped in awe at the dazzling, 4,000,000,001 illusion fox fur coat, while Baek Chang-hoon discreetly worried, observing Kim Taeju's lack of awakened markings and the looming dangers if he were merely an ordinary man. Baek Chang-hoon respectfully placed a hand on Kim Taeju's shoulder, a subtle gesture before speaking. The awakened swordsman, Baek Chang-hoon, confidently asserted his duty to lead and protect Kim Taeju from this dangerous point onward, as his father had strictly commanded. Kim Taeju responded simply, his tone unreadable. Kim Taeju, with a hint of annoyance, corrected Baek Chang-hoon's address, insisting on the more familial Hyung-nim. Baek Chang-hoon nervously agreed, his mind racing about Kim Taeju's age, before gravely advising him to stay shielded, emphasizing his own superior combat abilities as an awakened. Kim Taeju's profound silence created a sudden, palpable tension, prompting Baek Chang-hoon to quickly, apologetically, offer reassurances for any discomfort. With a slight, knowing smile, Kim Taeju calmly reassured him, noting his familiarity with the worry of those who see him as unawakened. His hand gripped an unseen object with decisive intent, suggesting they address the thing nearby before any further discussion. Baek Chang-hoon looked up, utterly confused, questioning what that thing Kim Taeju referred to could possibly be. From the dark, dense foliage, countless bright red eyes hissed into existence, silently, menacingly, peering from the shadows. Baek Chang-hoon's face contorted in pure terror, a trembling gasp barely escaping his lips as he recognized the dreaded storm weasel. With a piercing screech, 3 ferocious, red-eyed storm weasels erupted from the undergrowth, lunging aggressively at the unprepared Baek Chang-hoon. Despite their preparedness, a primal urgency seized them as claws met their desperate defenses. A cold dread seized Tang Gun-ak as he recognized the overwhelming numbers they faced. Kim Taeju's raw power began to manifest, swirling around him with an almost palpable force. Within his palm, deadly projectiles shimmered with latent power. Even more devastating spheres awaited their explosive deployment. His gaze hardened, a silent promise of overwhelming force. He unleashed a storm of unseen weapons, turning the forest into a maelstrom of purple light and concussive blasts. Tang Gun-ak could only gape, his mind struggling to comprehend the sudden, devastating power. As one storm weasel disintegrated, the team's unspoken knowledge affirmed the creature's danger, their weakness only in their collective terror. Against such overwhelming might, the formidable beasts dissolved into nothingness, their threat utterly nullified. He watched the last vestiges of the onslaught fade, the battle abruptly, decisively concluded. Kim Tae-ju merely dusted his hands, his composure undisturbed. He found the encounter nothing more than a slight, unexpected diversion. The ethereal blade he couldn't use freely still shimmered with forbidden potential. Baek Chang-hoon checked on Kim Tae-ju, who, in turn, justified the costly, instantaneous devastation needed to keep his companions safe. His arsenal contained a terrifying array of lethal, concealed armaments. The aftermath revealed a staggering cost, over 200 hidden weapons, utterly unrecoverable, dissolved his funds into thin air. He longed for a skill that would reclaim his lost munitions, while Baek Chang-hoon hesitantly questioned his true, unbelievable nature. Baek Chang-hoon leaned in, his desperate curiosity battling a rising tide of unease. Kim Tae-ju, with an infuriating smirk, casually denied being awakened before seizing command of their journey. Baek Chang-hoon stumbled, his father's strict directives clashing violently with Kim Tae-ju's brazen certainty. Kim Tae-ju strode on, leaving Baek Chang-hoon to ponder the enigmatic, unsettling aura of the man now leading them. The group pressed onward, their path cutting deeper into the serene heart of the forest. Through the gentle rustle, Kim Tae-ju spotted a guarani, peacefully grazing. The guarani froze, its peaceful meal momentarily forgotten. Baek Chang-hoon cautiously sought direction, unsure how to approach the potent, poisonous creature. Kim Tae-ju merely smirked, certain the beast already recognized its own inherent powerlessness. With a decisive gesture, he commanded them to take the antidote and prepare for the hunt. A chorus of doubt erupted as they eyed the unfamiliar antidote, questioning its efficacy. Tang Gun-ak clutched the vial, his trust in the experimental formula hanging by a thread. His hand tightened around the bottle, a silent acknowledgement of the developer's connection to his father, and Kim Tae-ju's undeniable strength. With a newfound surge of resolve, Tang Gun-ak swallowed the experimental potion. He took point, instructing Baek Chang-hoon to provide crucial mana gun support should the beast try to flee. His blade slid free with a practiced, lethal grace. Tang Gun-ak lunged, his sword a blur as the guarani watched in sudden, bewildered horror. The guarani shrieked, a primal cry of fury and terror. The creature's piercing shriek ripped through the air, forcing the team to recoil in agonizing pain. Tang Gun-ak ignored the sound, his powerful swing unwavering. His glowing blade cleaved the beast in two, a single, devastating stroke. The divided creature collapsed, its brief life abruptly extinguished in a sickening thud. A frantic warning shattered the silence, as the woman with short brown hair screamed about an imminent explosion. The guarani burst into a shower of harmless, glowing purple bubbles. The lingering, ethereal remnants of the beast drifted around them, an oddly beautiful aftermath. Kim Tae-ju conceded a rare compliment, pleased by the unexpected outcome. Tang Gun-ak acknowledged the antidote's success, and the unexpected courage of the kid, who lacked formal skills but possessed undeniable audacity. The woman with short brown hair, overjoyed, playfully declared her immunity, while the others shared in a collective, relieved smile. Tang Gun-ak sighed, truly relieved that the controversial remedy had performed as promised. Kim Tae-ju strode forward, his smug confidence reinforced, declaring the poison removed, the guarani's cry proven worse than its bite, a mere weakling. Baek Chang-hoon profusely apologized for his doubt, while the woman with short brown hair enthusiastically lauded Kim Tae-ju's genius, remembering his mosquito antidote. Kim Tae-ju announced their deeper trek, his leadership now firmly cemented, with Tang Gun-ak eagerly falling in line. He casually instructed them to butcher the fallen beast, predicting the guarani's imminent extinction once his breakthrough antidote went public. Far from the forest, new Seoul sprawled beneath a vibrant sky, a testament to future innovation. The sleek, modern HQ of the Marini Group pierced the clear blue heavens. Inside, the drone of industrious work filled the brightly lit, open-plan offices. A voice interrupted the quiet focus of Baek Seo-yeon's desk work. Baek Seo-yeon responded with practiced professionalism, ever attentive to her superiors. Deputy Manager John Joo-hak bypassed pleasantries, revealing his pointed interest in Baek Seo-yeon's connection to Baek Hongpyo's orphanage. Baek Seo-yeon confirmed the link, her inner thoughts wary of the deputy manager's unspoken motives. With a chilling smirk, John Joo-hak confirmed his suspicion, then abruptly ordered her to abandon all current projects. Baek Seo-yeon's mind reeled in stunned disbelief. The deputy manager's knowing smile deepened as he reassigned her to a personal favor in Guro, cloaked in veiled authority. The team behind the translation proudly presented their work. A man's sly request for a favor in Guri immediately brought an unsettling tension to the office. He pressed, demanding to know if she had missed the significant news about Taehong Bio. Though inwardly frustrated by his sudden prying, she confirmed her awareness of the popular antidote. He dropped a bombshell, revealing her family's drugstore was a subsidiary, a fact her father had inexplicably kept hidden. His true, sinister request emerged: infiltrate her father's trust in Guri, steal the antidote formula, and reap the illicit rewards. A horrifying realization dawned: he was demanding she betray her own father. Her phone abruptly vibrated, its insistent buzz revealing an unexpected call from her father. She tentatively requested to answer, while he, with thinly veiled impatience, granted her a mere moment. She listened intently, absorbing her father's words with a somber focus. His impatience simmered, a stark contrast to her lingering, silent conversation. Ending the call, a quiet resolve settled upon her face. He pressed, his gaze piercing, demanding an immediate answer to her prolonged consideration. With newfound resolve, she confidently declared her decision to head to Guri. As he reached to dictate terms, her abrupt declaration forcefully halted his intentions. He yelped, startled by the sudden, unseen impact. With a triumphant smile, she declared her immediate resignation from this abysmal company. She unleashed her fury, denouncing his condescending nature and flatly refusing his vile demand to betray her own father. Baek Seo-yeon defiantly dismissed his frantic shouts as mere nonsense, punctuating her departure with a rude gesture. The setting shifted to Guri City, showcasing a prominent building owned by Kim Tae-ju. Kim Tae-ju silently observed his diligent team, their rustling movements organizing the storage area. He offered a soft smile, genuinely commending his team's efforts. His team leader offered thanks, but Kim Tae-ju insisted they rest at the orphanage, taking the remaining duties upon himself. The man voiced his genuine concern, citing their father's explicit orders for Kim Tae-ju's protection. Kim Tae-ju confidently brushed aside his own safety, redirecting the man to protect the orphanage and its CEO instead. He mused, convinced that the orphanage's isolation and the inevitable public outcry would ensure its impenetrable safety. Yet, his thoughts lingered on the unpredictable madness of the world, especially in Guri. He waved goodbye, understanding his essential reliance on such loyal and trustworthy individuals. They quietly departed, disappearing into the night towards the orphanage. With purposeful strides, he envisioned his company's expansion, foreseeing a future dedicated to new medical breakthroughs. His humble desire for a modest life had unexpectedly blossomed into something far grander. As the elevator chimed, he conceded that immense wealth wasn't such a bad outcome. He ambled through his new home, a tangible testament to his unexpected, surging success. The concept of owning his own home still felt profoundly alien. He thoughtfully wiped away a speck of dust, settling into his new space. He recounted his origins as a mana reject, a life expected to end in Payu, yet somehow, he had defied death. He detailed his coerced military service, his near demise, and the potent awakening that led him to Guri to craft the antidote. Ultimately, his greatest reward had been the good people he met. In a surprisingly short span, his life had indeed become a whirlwind of turbulent events. Gyuri, he decided, would be the proud cornerstone of his own independent empire. Two figures moved stealthily through the dim night towards the building. Ma Sangshik snarled, confirming the ominous building indeed belonged to Kim Tae-ju. He sneered at Kim Tae-ju's rapid rise, scoffing at the newcomer's audacious land acquisitions and burgeoning influence. The subordinate informed him of Kim Tae-ju's smashing success, with another antidote on the horizon. Ma Sangshik's furious retort left his subordinate sputtering in terrified apology. He sked in frustration, lamenting that Jo Hun-sik's directive prevented him from outright kidnapping Kim Tae-ju and stealing the formula. Though chafing under Jo Hun-sik's influence, Ma Sangshik reluctantly conceded, leading his men forward with their mandated task. A subordinate's skilled fingers expertly picked the lock, granting them illicit entry. Two figures crept silently up the darkened staircase. Ma Sangshik chillingly outlined their objective, a swift injection, rendering Kim Tae-ju helpless for quiet extraction. The door slowly creaked open, inviting them further into the darkness. A silhouette slipped inside, syringe poised for immediate action. The subordinate inhaled sharply, steeling himself for the strike. With savage intent, the subordinate lunged forward, the syringe aimed at his unsuspecting target. Kim Tae-ju's hand shot out, brutally seizing the attacking syringe. He locked his grip, effortlessly neutralizing the immediate threat. Kim Tae-ju, eyes glowing, revealed he'd been awake all along, contemplating his fate and terrifying the subordinate. Ma Sangshik, still ignorant of the truth, furiously demanded the injection proceed. Trapped in an unseen grip, the subordinate struggled, admitting his hand was utterly paralyzed. Ma Sangshik could only utter a stunned, disbelieving question. Kim Tae-ju's quiet admission of knowing their arrival from the start utterly shocked the subordinate. Confusion erupted as Kim Tae-ju vanished, Ma Sangshik's bewilderment intensifying when he realized his syringe had disappeared too. Kim Tae-ju reappeared, coolly declaring his aversion to needles, deepening the subordinate's terror. As a subordinate questioned Kim Tae-ju's mana reject status, Ma Sangshik remained silently absorbed, analyzing the unpredictable situation. He provocatively twirled the syringe, brazenly suggesting he might simply consume its contents. Ma Sangshik exploded in a fit of rage, his furious accusations hammering Kim Tae-ju for stealing his drug in audacious disrespect. A subordinate could only stammer in bewildered, utter shock. With a wicked smirk, he let the mysterious liquid drip onto his tongue. He casually declared, drugs, as the empty syringe lay discarded. Now emanating dark energy, his eyes glowing purple, Kim Tae-ju smirked, demanding more of the poison that had clearly empowered him. Rumors had long slithered through the Gyuri slums, tales of a drug syndicate so entrenched, even the autonomy committee couldn't disentangle its high-placed backers. Now, that very forbidden substance lay before him, a poison with properties he had never encountered, and an allure that both repelled and intrigued. With the fourth star of the poison spirit art within him, Kim Tae-ju knew he could easily subdue any mere drug, recalling how the legendary supreme poison demon, Tang Gun-ak, once mastered every opiate, fantasy pill, and paradise incense, a subtle hinting at ancient power. To advance his poison essence, Tang Gun-ak had absorbed the very drugs from within his victims, then inquired with an intense, eerie about their newfound state. Tang Gun-ak mockingly questioned if the man with dark hair felt like a new person, the shock of his stolen drugs leaving him bewildered and weakened on the floor. With stern determination, Tang Gun-ak demanded the true mastermind's identity from the debilitated man. The terrified man with dark hair stammered his refusal, fearing death, prompting Tang Gun-ak to calmly promise a new, more profound transformation, his steps resolute and menacing as he approached with a soft then a deliberate. A horrifying aya shattered the night as a brilliant green light erupted from the building, signifying a supernatural event unfolding within. Miles away, a car swept along the sprawling city highway, a subtle barely audible amidst the dynamic urban hum. The man with short dark hair and a sword remained lost in the quiet hum of the moving vehicle, his gaze distant as thought consumed him. He pondered the identity of Kim Tae-ju, intrigued by his connection to the renowned mosquito poison antidote. The woman with short brown hair briefed him on the intricate situation, Sang-shik's failed kidnapping, the unearthed mastermind, and the vigilante group's new burden to prove their reliability through a thorough investigation. Jo Hun-sik seethed with extreme frustration, slamming his hand down with furious at his own failure to execute the plan decisively. Jo Hun-sik dissects the political landscape, recognizing Kim Tae-ju's limited influence, yet dreading the intractable power of Baek Hong-pyo and the impossibility of a quiet resolution. He concluded, with a heavy heart, that the conflict would inevitably drag on, placing a significant, unwelcome burden on the vigilante group. Jo Hun-sik pondered the weight of their predicament, wondering if this truly was the inescapable path. Jo Hun-sik and the man in brown vest held silent vigil over the 5 bound men, one of whom suffered a low of discomfort. Ma Sang-shik, racked by the horrifying throes of withdrawal, uttered an agonized plea for more drugs, a pitiful escaping his lips. A single foot fell to the ground with a soft, an unyielding step heralding a determined arrival. Lee Jung-hak burst into the plaza with a boisterous greeting, his energetic presence unperturbed by the weary of his orange-haired companion. The man in brown vest extended a respectful greeting, acknowledging Master Lee and the vigilante group's remarkably prompt arrival. The man with short dark hair and a sword cut him off, dismissing Lee Jung-hak with a brusque command to step aside, their steps crossing with a defiance. Ma Sang-shik, utterly shattered by drug withdrawal, lay on the ground, his desperate plea for drugs barely punctuated by the metallic click of implied restraints, a chilling. The man with short dark hair and a sword's unyielding focus pierced through Lee Jung-hak's attempt to intervene, ignoring the orange-haired man's surprised questioning as he fixed his gaze on Ma Sang-shik. With cold authority, the man with short dark hair and a sword pronounced a summary execution, his sword sweeping through the air with a deadly, followed by a chilling. A powerful, blinding arc of green energy cleaved through the air with devastating force. An unseen force abruptly shattered the attack, producing a resonant as the green energy blast was impossibly stopped. Kim Tae-ju strode in with calm authority, his approach marked by a confident, immediately intervening and demanding to know why they would kill a crucial witness. Terror-stricken, Ma Sang-shik gushed out the shameful truth, revealing Jo Hun-sik of YJ Pharmacy as the one who orchestrated the kidnapping and drug addiction, a hidden detail brought forth with a revealing. Kim Tae-ju shrewdly gauged the tension, holding up the phone with Jo Hun-sik's image, implying to the man with short dark hair and a sword that he already knew the full extent of the conspiracy. The man with short dark hair and a sword snapped his demand for an identity, his teeth grinding with a soft, which Kim Tae-ju calmly met by unveiling his own name. A dark realization dawned upon the man with short dark hair and a sword. Kim Tae-ju, the creator of the antidote, now stood before him, his expression turning ominously potent. He drilled his gaze with unyielding fury, his eyes a hyper-focused, threatening intensity. The man with short dark hair and a sword closed the distance, his aggressive, challenging Kim Tae-ju to meet his unsettling demand for a closer look. A flicker of recognition passed through him, an unsettling memory that he had seen Kim Tae-ju's face before. A sudden marked the jolt of clarity, an unexpected recall. The man with short dark hair and a sword mocked Kim Tae-ju, identifying him as that Porter bastard from a forgotten chapter of their shared past. Kim Tae-ju held his silence, his narrowed eyes reflecting a calculated quiet after the revelation. The man with short dark hair and a sword pieced together the puzzle, asking if Kim Tae-ju was indeed the antidote's creator, to which Kim Tae-ju replied with a simple, resounding yes, adjusting his coat with a deliberate. He scoffed, his smirk dismissive as he downplayed the importance of Kim Tae-ju's feat. Faint purple energy began to radiate from the man with short dark hair and a sword, a low signaling his intent to unleash his dominance in Guri. Enveloped in crackling purple lightning, the man with short dark hair and a sword thundered his absolute dominion, asserting that his word was law, emphasized by the fierce. He made a chilling proposal, to mercifully slit the throats of the 4 bound men, offering it as a way to swiftly settle this dispute. Kim Taeju's unwavering refusal hung heavy in the air, prompting the man with short dark hair and a sword to draw his blade with a sudden, escalating the confrontation. The man with short dark hair and a sword roared, challenging Kim Taeju to stop him as he unleashed his attack with reckless force, a powerful marking his lunge. Kim Taeju let out a sharp, annoyed tch, bracing for impact as a metallic sound indicated his readiness to defend. Kim Taeju blurred through the air, his acrobatics deflecting a shimmering barrage of green energy blades with a rapid. The man with short dark hair and a sword unleashed a torrent of razor-sharp green energy blades, a relentless cutting through the air. Purple lightning and energy slashes shredded the air with furious, clashing against unseen forces in a resonant. The man with short dark hair and a sword towered over the prostrate Ma Sangshik, a gruff followed by a soft as he posed a questioning challenge to Kim Taeju about the captured men. He darkly observed Kim Taeju's skill, displaying a minor cut on his hand with disarming candor, a thin stream of blood as subtle accompanying his analytical assessment of the threat. Enveloped in crackling purple lightning, the man with short dark hair and a sword thundered his final decree, condemning Kim Taeju to death for his double interference, underscored by the fierce. Kim Taeju countered with an unflinching question, his voice a mocking challenge to the very concept of master. A ripple of confusion, a soft "an," crossed the man with short dark hair and a sword's face as he pondered the unexpected certainty behind Kim Taeju's confidence. Kim Taeju blazed forth with phantom mirage steps, a flickering blur of green energy attacks, a barrage of assaulting his opponent. From Kim Taeju's outstretched hand, a powerful unleashed a deadly volley of shimmering green energy blades. The man with short dark hair and a sword shielded himself, his sword crackling with purple lightning, the insistent, reflecting the intense, powerful defense. An abrupt stop from an unidentified speaker shattered the air as two helicopters loomed into view, interrupting the fierce battle. The man with long dark hair, tied up, and three subordinates streaked down from the helicopter with powerful, descending into the conflict below. The man with long dark hair, tied up, landed with a powerful and an unyielding presence, his subordinates quickly following. The man with long dark hair, tied up, intoned with unmistakable command, his voice cutting through the air with a decisive as he addressed Lee Jung-hak, demanding an end to the chaos. The chopper tore through the sky, its descent accompanied by a frantic drum of rotor blades as Lieutenant General Oh Jin-hyung and his team plunged from the doomed craft. He struck the ground with the force of a meteor, cracked spiderwebbing beneath him as he declared the chaos was to cease. Under the expansive sky, two factions stood poised, the air around them humming with unspoken animosity, a silent challenge laid bare. Lee Jung-hak's military-grade boots, planted firmly, hinted at the unyielding resolve beneath his quiet stance. Lee Jung-hak wasted no time, cutting to the chase about Oh Jin-hyung's unexpected intrusion into the free city. Oh Jin-hyung simply smirked, asking if permission was now a prerequisite for his mere presence, _Pizik_. Lee Jung-hak's jaw tightened, interpreting the visit as an affront, military interference he wouldn't tolerate, _Pajik_. Oh Jin-hyung merely shrugged, brushing off the accusation, insisting he wasn't there as a soldier, _Yusik_. For today, he claimed, he was simply a civilian named Oh Jin-hyung, _Seek_. With a dismissive wave, Oh Jin-hyung suggested they part ways, letting each handle their own burdens. Lee Jung-hak inwardly simmered, the thinly veiled disrespect sparking a furious _Ururu_ within him. The man with light hair reached out, his face etched with genuine concern for Oh Jin-hyung's well-being. Their hands clasped firmly, a silent bond reinforced, Oh Jin-hyung confirming he was unharmed, _Kwak_. His eyes widened in shock, then narrowed with fierce resolve, demanding the identity of those responsible. Major General Gu Junyoung stepped forward, asserting the military's duty to protect their antidote supplier from such indignities. Major General Park Pil-sung offered a reassuring smile, promising off-duty officers for protection. Major General Hong Juntae thoughtfully rubbed his hands, pondering the restorative medicines he could provide, _Suksak_. Lee Junghak grimly noted the circle of masters around Oh Jin-hyung, realizing their combined might, military obstinacy included, made negotiation futile, _ha. Defeated for the moment, Lee Junghak swore he would exact his revenge for this humiliation and declared his immediate departure. Oh Jin-hyung's smile was a barb, challenging Lee Junghak's hasty retreat. Lee Junghak retorted sharply, his frustration evident, dismissing Oh Jin-hyung's carefree demeanor as a luxury he couldn't afford, _hwek_. Oh Jin-hyung only chuckled softly, finding Lee Junghak's indignation surprisingly amusing, _he. Lee Junghak's brow furrowed, seeking an explanation for Oh Jin-hyung's perplexing reaction. Oh Jin-hyung pointedly gestured to the captured figures, mocking Lee Junghak's failure and sarcastically offering military backup for his perceived incompetence. Lee Junghak, gripping his sword, decisively refused the offer, ordering his subordinate to round up Sangshik's crew as he strode away, _Tiabik. But Oh Jin-hyung's voice cut through the air, firmly declaring the captured men were now his responsibility. Lee Junghak spun around, a fresh wave of anger washing over him as he challenged Oh Jin-hyung's blatant hypocrisy, _hwek_. Lee Junghak demanded an explanation, only for Oh Jin-hyung to reveal the stakes. These men had dared to target a close friend, leaving him no choice but to intervene. Lee Junghak invoked the imperial decree, but Oh Jin-hyung merely scoffed, utterly unimpressed by the legal threat, _pajik_. Oh Jin-hyung erupted, an aura of crackling crimson energy radiating from him, daring Lee Junghak to see him as an equal, _. Lee Junghak's eyes widened in sheer terror, his entire frame trembling at the raw power unleashed, _. Oh Jin-hyung's voice dropped to a chilling whisper, asking what punishment His Majesty would dare mete out if he were to strike Lee Junghak down, _. Despite the terror, Lee Junghak clenched his jaw, a defiant growl escaping him, _. Oh Jin-hyung's subordinates closed in, their taunts and challenges leaving Lee Junghak cornered and humiliated, _. Lee Junghak burned with silent fury, sweat beading on his brow as the pressure mounted. Even his companion swallowed hard, _. The suffocating tension affecting everyone. A silent, frustrated _. Was all Lee Junghak could manage, his pride deeply wounded. Lee Junghak, defeat stinging, angrily commanded his team to retreat to the car. Oh Jin-hyung, with a triumphant smirk, declared Lee Junghak too coddled by Gyuri's shelter. The man with light hair offered his sincere gratitude for Oh Jin-hyung's crucial intervention. Oh Jin-hyung laughed heartily, dismissing the thanks, reminding them of their shared destiny, _haha_. The man with light hair, slightly embarrassed, thanked Oh Jin-hyung for his immediate response despite the urgent call. Oh Jin-hyung, placing a hand on Baek Hongpyo's shoulder, inquired about his state, to which his companion grimly replied it had been, almost a disaster. He expressed profound relief that calling Lieutenant General Oh Jin-hyung had swiftly brought order to the chaos. The trembling captives, now secure, shivered with residual fear, _, a stark reminder of their ordeal. Oh Jin-hyung placed a firm hand on the man's shoulder, _, a gesture of grave intent. Oh Jin-hyung offered to personally deal with the culprits and their shadowy master, but the man with light hair politely declined, insisting on handling the matter himself. Oh Jin-hyung expertly pressed his point, arguing the broader implications for antidote production and military security, securing the man's thoughtful concession. The man with light hair resolved to tie up any lingering loose ends, preventing further clashes between Oh Jin-hyung and Lee Junghak. Lee Junghak examined the small, bleeding cut on his hand, wondering if even his potent 4-star poison proved ineffective against a master. He replayed the chaotic fight in his mind, questioning if, without Oh Jin-hyung's abrupt interference, he truly could have emerged victorious, _. An unyielding resolve hardened his gaze, he must become stronger. As the captured men were led away, he vowed to ensure such a humiliating setback would never recur, _. A searing pain shot through him, _, as Lee Jung-hak bitterly cursed Kim Tae-ju and Oh Jin-hyung, wishing them both dead. He noticed a strange, glowing scratch on his hand, a remnant from his earlier struggle. A horrifying realization dawned: it was poison, its malevolent green tendrils spreading rapidly beneath his skin, ___. A guttural cry escaped him as agony ripped through his body, cold sweat beading on his face, __. He frantically clutched his arm, a desperate, futile attempt to halt the relentless green invasion, __. Horror twisted his features as the venomous green veins slithered up his neck and face, __. Through the rearview mirror, the driver glimpsed Lee Jung-hak's horrific transformation and called out, alarmed. Lee Jung-hak shrieked through his pain, a desperate plea for the hospital, __, now. The car surged forward, a dark streak against the city's vibrant pulse, __, a desperate race against time. In a final, agonizing gasp, he realized the architect of his torment, screaming Kim Tae-ju's name, __. A helicopter cut through the vast, sun-drenched expanse. Inside, a silent tension hung heavy as men awaited their grim task. The bound man's desperate plea for mercy echoed, his voice trembling with abject terror. His captor, unmoved, casually dismissed the offer, revealing their chilling foresight. A sharp command cut through the air, signaling the next grim stage. A cold, metallic click resonated, sealing someone's fate. The sudden roar of the wind heralded a terrifying void. The terrified man's frantic cries were met with a chilling order: drop them one by one. Shrieks ripped through the air as another life plummeted into the abyss, leaving Hong Juntae indifferent. Hong Juntae calmly announced the cleanup was complete, brushing invisible dust from his hands. His leader's chilling assent was followed by another name, another fate sealed. The man with long dark hair, tied up, then shifted his focus, ordering troops to be deployed to Taehongbayo. He schemed, intending to leverage the unfolding chaos to forge a crucial connection with Kim Tae-ju. Meanwhile, a vibrant terminal buzzed with anonymous lives, unaware of the brewing storm. A mundane ringtone interrupted the ordinary flow of the day. The woman with short brown hair confirmed her arrival, her footsteps echoing a calm rhythm. She gasped, utterly astonished by the unexpected generosity and newfound reputation of someone she knew. The news of an antidote, paired with her initial judgment, left her in disbelief at how wrong she had been. She concluded the call with a promise to arrive home safely, settling into her ride. Instead of home, her destination was Beck's orphanage, the engine purring to life. A deeper purpose pulled her forward, a silent understanding that her father's call was no ordinary summons. Soon, the gates of Beck's orphanage appeared, a beacon of hope against the distant mountains. The orphanage courtyard pulsed with joyous energy, children gathered around a bustling outdoor feast. Her father's delighted greeting welcomed her into the warmth of the celebration. She beamed, affirming her unwavering devotion to his wishes. A warm pat on the shoulder conveyed his heartfelt gratitude. In answer to her curious inquiry, her father proudly announced their feast of spore poison water deer. Her casual query morphed into wide-eyed shock. The unbelievable truth of Changhun's earlier words was confirmed: they were genuinely eating it. Her father then guided her towards Mr. Tae-ju, who was busy aiding the children amidst the cheerful din. Kim Tae-ju gently urged the eager children to eat slowly, his presence radiating warmth. Her father proudly introduced his daughter, Baek Seo-yeon, to Kim Tae-ju. Kim Tae-ju greeted Baek Seo-yeon with a polite, confident smirk. A flicker of recognition crossed Baek Seo-yeon's mind, recalling a prior encounter. Relieved, she apologized for her past rudeness and expressed enthusiasm for their future collaboration. Kim Tae-ju reassured her of his commitment to Taehongbayo, earning her palpable relief. A rhythmic thud of marching boots signaled an approaching military presence. Kim Tae-ju registered the sound, his attention piqued. Major Do Min-soo and 19 others were officially assigned to secure Taehongbayo, their presence a formal declaration. Kim Tae-ju welcomed the major, subtly expressing concern for the logistics of such a large contingent. The Major's hearty laughter dismissed the concern, confidently declaring their self-sufficiency. A firm handshake sealed their alliance, the Major vowing unwavering protection for Kim Tae-ju. Kim Tae-ju's next invitation, for water deer soup, caught the Major completely off guard. Despite his surprise, the Major immediately barked orders for his troops to unpack and prepare for the unusual feast. No longer a solitary figure, Kim Tae-ju now surveyed his growing faction, a quiet sense of triumph stirring within. The scene shifted to an aerial view of Guri Castle, a formidable structure dominating the landscape. In the opulent autonomous committee meeting room, a man with light hair methodically laid out a damning list of financial crimes. The pointed question hung heavy in the air, demanding a confession. A pained grunt escaped the representative of YJ Pharmacy as he conceded. He seethed inwardly, railing against the betrayal of those who had taken his money, now abandoned, Ma Sang-shik unreachable, and Kim Tae-ju still a threat. His teeth ground together, the silent question burning, where did it all go so wrong? A desperate resolution formed, he saw no other viable path. The engine roared to life as he fled, a false hope echoing that everything would eventually settle. The luxury car vanished into the dark, winding roads. A sharp beep signaled a red light, forcing a momentary halt. A menacing rumble intruded from the shadows, growing closer. A sudden revving engine drew the representative's startled gaze to his side mirror. Glass exploded inward with a deafening crash. A thunderous impact violently shook the vehicle. The sickening screech of twisted metal filled the confined space. With a desperate, final lurch, the car teetered on the precipice, its headlights illuminating a terrifying drop. A lone motorcyclist confirmed the mission's completion, as the car vanished into the dark waters below. Kim Tae-ju's body spasmed, racked by an invisible torment. A guttural cry escaped him as his body fought against itself. Precise footsteps marked the arrival of the man, announcing the guildmaster's long-awaited delivery. A potent glow radiated from the coveted elixir, its very presence whispering of immense power. His plea for haste was a raw testament to fading hope. With a desperate, trembling motion, he consumed the glowing remedy. The elixir surged within, a fiery maelstrom consuming all pain. A chilling satisfaction settled over him, the elixir's power briefly absolute. But then, a violent surge of energy tore through him, ripping his triumph to shreds. His curses choked on his own blood as the cruel irony of his betrayal collapsed around him. While the new company slowly formed, his true quest led him deep into Mount Yiri, where he sought a legendary ingredient for a potent new medicine. Yet, his journey held a second, more dangerous purpose, to gather new poisons for the relentless refinement of his skills. His inner thoughts reflected a rapid ascent, the sheer volume of poison ingested pushing him startlingly close to the formidable fifth star. An unfamiliar presence snagged his attention, stirring a subtle alertness. His trained eye recognized the distinctive poison sap oak, its defensive venom a compelling subject. An unusual sweetness surprised him, confirming the poison's peculiar efficacy. The blue-bellied fire-bellied toad possessed a potent venom concealed within its azure skin. Its anesthetic properties made it a valuable specimen, carefully secured for future study. A chilling hiss preceded the menacing white-necked giant centipede, its presence radiating peril. He fearlessly clutched the monstrous centipede, casually gauging its lethal potential against a seasoned orc. A perverse delight flickered in his eyes as he assessed the venom's fresh, potent bite. A sudden rustle ripped through the calm, instantly snapping his focus to the unseen. Subtle disturbances in the foliage hinted at a fleeting passage, raising an immediate question. A deep, guttural roar shattered the stillness as primal danger revealed itself. He found his quarry, the giant Asiatic black bear, but wondered if the predator had found him first, its challenge echoing through the forest. The bear's magnificent roar rippled with immense power, marking the inevitable collision. His thoughts sharpened, embracing the unexpected challenge, eager to test the bear's formidable might. A crisp click signaled his readiness, retractable claws extending with deadly purpose. He erupted forward, a blur of deadly intent. Visceral impacts slammed into the bear, each strike echoing with brute force. His quick assessment revealed the bear's surprising, formidable speed. An enraged roar intensified the standoff, daring him to respond. With a practiced flourish, his gale step dissolved him into a swift, elusive current. Yet, the bear bore the searing sting of multiple blades, a shocking testament to its endurance. In a startling display of raw resilience, the embedded blades simply fell away. His blood-seal poison palm landed with explosive force, intent on shattering its defenses. Another devastating blow sent shockwaves rippling outwards, testing the limits of its endurance. The very ground groaned and splintered under the sheer destructive force unleashed. A whirlwind of brutal impacts rained down, each strike a testament to his relentless assault. His quick, tactical movements masked an internal frustration, as his formidable attacks yielded no true effect. The bear's defiant roars confirmed its superior strength, rendering his current level of poison spirit art insufficient for victory. A strategic pause, punctuated by the exertion of battle, marked his deep deliberation. Unwavering determination set his course. He would simply become stronger, reaching into his pouch for the means. With grim resolve, he consumed the raw venom of the blue-bellied toad. The centipede's potent poison dripped onto his skin, a shocking, searing embrace. Inside, a tempest of poisonous ki surged through his very being, powerfully converging toward his core. A potent green glow emanated from his eyes, signifying a profound, powerful shift within. Engulfed in a formidable emerald aura, he embraced the fifth star of the Hunyuan formless poison spirit art with a menacing, triumphant laugh. His emerald gaze promised a stark, undeniable change in the confrontation. A subtle movement signaled his shift to a specialized poison sect weapon. From his palm, the lethal elegance of blood butterflies emerged, ready to fulfill their purpose. Undeterred, the bear answered with a ferocious charge, a final declaration of its primal will. The newly mastered blood butterflies danced through the air, their movements precisely dictated by his heightened ki, a strategic ballet of death. A chilling impact struck its vulnerable delivering a potent, focused blow. A relentless barrage of impacts warped its formidable frame, overwhelming its defenses. A profound weariness settled over the beast, its fight, at last, was truly over. His dual objectives were gloriously accomplished, the fifth star attained, the mighty bear vanquished. With a satisfied contemplation, he turned to the precise task of extraction. His hands moved with expert focus, delving into the beast with practiced precision. A potent, luminous organ pulsed with ancient, vibrant energy, revealing its magical essence. He meticulously assessed the gall bladder's immense poisonous ki, already formulating the precise ki barrier needed for its delicate extraction. With serene control, he drew forth the potent gall bladder, enveloping it in a shimmering barrier of his own ki. A quiet satisfaction settled over him, the elixir now within reach, he deemed his mission complete and turned homeward. Even in the serene, cloud-swept expanse of the immortal realm, whispers of fleeting trends captured the Ancient One's attention. A knowing smile touched his ancient lips, as he imagined the painstaking, stitch-by-stitch creation. Within the cool, detached calm, one immortal critiqued a beard, only to hear appearance dismissed for an elusive vibe. Irritation flared as the Ancient One was compared to a mere copycat, igniting a fiery rebuke against all lowly immortals. Overheard whispers about a poison immortal drew an irritated retort, reminding unseen brats that their ambitions were not unheard. A smug, shimmering certainty settled around the sword immortal as he declared his unique vibe utterly unreplicable. He then addressed Kim Taeju, implying a shared, profound connection to Earth that no other could comprehend. With a soft, resonant hum, the legendary giant moon bear gallbladder elixir glowed, finally complete. After twice failing, Kim Taeju admitted the elusive elixir proved more challenging than his focused efforts had first anticipated. He held the dark, potent sphere, while an internal system detailed how elixirs, priced by mana crystal content, could swiftly elevate an awakener's rank. Kim Tae-ju, curious about his creation's true grade, abruptly offered the powerful, unproven elixir to a dozing Baek Chang-hoon. Startled from slumber, Baek Chang-hoon stammered awake, his mind grasping at the possibility that the arduous task was at last finished. With a slight, expectant smile, Kim Tae-ju extended the small, potent elixir, inviting Baek Chang-hoon to finally taste its promise. Baek Chang-hoon, despite his unsettling thought that it resembled rotten rabbit poop, nevertheless trusted Kim Tae-ju's careful crafting. He swallowed it without hesitation, accepting the mysterious concoction with a confident, grateful gulp. Kim Tae-ju's probing inquiry about the elixir's effects was met with Baek Chang-hoon's genuine, uncertain confusion. Then, with a sudden surge and a shocked gasp, Baek Chang-hoon began to glow, his body levitating gently as blue energy cascaded around him. A brilliant, surging blue light erupted from within the building, a powerful beacon against the night sky. The raw, vibrant blue energy pulsed upwards through the building's core, illuminating the internal staircase in its ethereal glow. Baek Chang-hoon's eye, overwhelmed, shimmered with pixelated blue light as his transformation rapidly intensified. Shocked, Baek Chang-hoon received a system notification, congratulating him on his rapid rank increase to beginner. Amidst the overwhelming glow, Baek Chang-hoon could only whisper his astonishment at the system's declaration of a rank increase. Tears of pure joy streamed down Baek Chang-hoon's radiant face as he exuberantly announced his rank had soared. Kim Tae-ju watched, dumbfounded, by the elixir's astonishing potency, utterly unable to reconcile its effects with its humble ingredients. Panic seized Baek Chang-hoon, convinced he had consumed something exorbitantly valuable, he frantically offered repayment or even a slave contract. Kim Tae-ju calmly placed a hand on his shoulder, reassuring him about the cheap ingredients, yet acknowledging the elixir's truly elite efficacy. As Baek Chang-hoon scratched his head in confusion, Kim Tae-ju pondered whether the elixir's extraordinary impact was somehow unique to him. With a resolute glint in his eye, Kim Tae-ju pointed and instructed Baek Chang-hoon to bring a new friend for further testing. Baek Chang-hoon stared, wide-eyed, at the unexpected request to involve someone else. Kim Tae-ju explained his need for a mana-compatible orphan, prompting a worried Baek Chang-hoon to question his intentions. A sly smirk played across Kim Tae-ju's lips as he declared that good things were always meant to be shared. A soft click and the creak of a door announced Baek Chang-hoon's return, the requested person now present. Jang Suncheol, 23 and mana-compatible from Baek's orphanage, introduced himself with a respectful bow, having just arrived yesterday. Baek Chang-hoon proudly introduced Jang Suncheol as intelligent and kind, who then formally greeted Kim Tae-ju. Kim Tae-ju offered the elixir to Jang Suncheol, seeing its appearance, immediately questioned if it was rabbit poop. Kim Tae-ju remained silent, while a flustered Baek Chang-hoon frantically scolded Jang Suncheol for disrespecting the potent elixir. With resolute determination, Jang Suncheol swallowed the elixir, dismissing its appearance for its potential effect. A powerful surge of blue energy engulfed Jang Suncheol, his shout echoing as he, too, underwent a startling transformation. Jang Suncheol stared, wide-eyed and shocked, as a system notification blazed before him, declaring his awakening. Baek Chang-hoon gasped about a tattoo, while Kim Tae-ju, serious, began to suspect something profound. Jang Suncheol, still bewildered, touched his chest, stammering confirmation of his newly acquired awakening. Kim Tae-ju offered a serene congratulations, observing as an overly excited Baek Chang-hoon roughly embraced Jang Suncheol, causing him pain, pondering the elixir's wildly varying effects. Kim Tae-ju mused internally, finding the elixir's unbelievable potency almost absurd, far surpassing any reasonable expectation. With a serious expression, Kim Tae-ju concluded that such an overpowered elixir simply could not be sold in its current form. A cunning smirk spread across Kim Tae-ju's face as he resolved to rebrand it as Yosangdan, a healing pill for Murim's internal injuries. Jang Suncheol urgently called out, his voice cutting through the lab's quiet. Jang Suncheol pledged his complete loyalty, bowing deeply, much to Kim Taeju's surprised and uncomfortable reaction. With fierce determination, Jang Suncheol clenched his fist, vowing to repay Kim Taeju's kindness, whatever the cost. A terrified scream ripped through the air, breaking the serene silence of the Yurisan demonic beast zone's northern jungle. In a flurry of axes, a bald man fiercely engaged a monstrous, purple-glowing beast amidst the dense jungle foliage. As purple energy crackled, notifications for master, expert, regular, and beginner ranks clearing flashed rapidly, amidst the fierce battle against demonic beasts. A figure strode purposefully through the jungle, their steps crunching on the dirt path, demanding a status report. A soldier, confident and smiling, reported 5 water deer secured, praising the anti-poison effect as worth its cost and lasting a full 12 hours. Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang, a satisfied smirk gracing his lips, confirmed the unwavering effectiveness of the protective measure. Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang issued orders to his saluting soldiers to take the deer and return, met with their resolute battle cry. As soldiers eagerly discussed grilling the water deer, a visibly irritated Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang secretly vowed to claim all 5 for himself. Brigadier General Kim Ung-bang's mind drifted to a delightful fantasy, savoring every heavenly bite of the deer, hidden away in his private refrigerator. A distinguished old man with a long white beard, smiling, clasped his hands and praised the significant catch, anticipating the emperor's pleasure. Lieutenant General Oh Jin-hyung, surprised, faced the unexpected arrival of Secretary Gm Soho, who greeted him with an unnerving familiarity. Gm Soho, the Samhan Empire's master-ranked court secretary and second strongest awakened, explained his presence, having heard of the emperor's upcoming water deer presentation. Lieutenant General Oh Jin-hyung recoiled in shock and confusion as Gm Soho's eyes glowed red, radiating a dark, intimidating aura. Terrified, Lieutenant General Oh Jin-hyung stammered out a swift denial, utterly subservient to the menacing Secretary Gm. Gm Soho's hearty laughter echoed through the jungle as he casually announced his intention to relieve Lieutenant General Oh Jin-hyung of the water deer right then and there. With a subtle shift in tone, Gm Soho paused, hinting at a more serious matter. Gm Soho's voice grew stern as he questioned Lieutenant General Oh Jin-hyung's excessive targeting of Lee Jung-hak, warning of serious repercussions if he died. Lieutenant General Oh Jin-hyung vehemently denied involvement with Lee Jung-hak, internally mourning the loss of the deer, as Gm Soho pressed him on the victim's critical state. Lieutenant General Oh Jin-hyung's evasive, sweating face betrayed his attempt to deflect, claiming ignorance of Lee Jung-hak's dire condition. Gm Soho, adjusting his hat, curtly instructed Lieutenant General Oh Jin-hyung to discover the truth himself, before making his departure. Lieutenant General Oh Jin-hyung, frustrated and utterly bewildered, cursed Gm Soho for his abrupt exit and unexplained revelations. The majestic headquarters of the Samhan Empire's Yurisan Demonic Beast Defense Corps stood proudly under the bright, clear sky. A tired man with beard questioned the imperial family's seizure of all spore poison antidotes, and Kim Taeju calmly confirmed they took the water deer too. His voice etched with desperate appeal, the man with beard implored for more antidotes, revealing others were begging for them at any price. Kim Taeju calmly explained his limited manual production, especially with Beck's drug shop reopening, and the man with beard acknowledged the difficult situation. Kim Taeju calmly sipped his tea, advising patience for a few months until mass production could ensure a smooth supply. He deliberately placed the teacup down, preparing to issue a special directive for the most impatient. With a confident smirk, Kim Taeju declared the steep price for those who couldn't wait, 10 million won per set. The man with beard reeled in shock at the astronomical price, as Kim Taeju calmly clarified it was only for limited sample sets. Kim Taeju explained his earlier pricing had served a specific, underlying purpose for the official retail cost. Baek Seo-yeon protested the antidotes were too cheap, but her father calmly reminded her of their broader, vital purpose beyond mere hunting. With a gentle smile, her father explained the antidotes were vital emergency medicine for ordinary citizens, saving lives only if kept affordable. Kim Taeju, deep in thought, understood the current eager buyers possessed motivations distinct from the general public. He sipped his tea, eyes narrowed, speculating their early demand stemmed from a desire to secure water dear, resell them, or even involve other companies. Kim Tae-ju's pointed question about their pre-release urgency clearly caught the man with beard off guard, leaving him flustered and speechless. With a cunning smirk, Kim Tae-ju concluded that those who needed the antidotes immediately must pay the price without negotiation. With a deep sigh, the man with beard reluctantly agreed to relay the steep 10 million won price. With the antidote matter settled, Kim Tae-ju eagerly pivoted to the main topic, leaving the man with beard utterly confused. Kim Tae-ju dramatically unveiled the Taehong recovery potion, detailing its unprecedented power to allow immediate redeployment after injury, making it a pivotal strategic resource. Before Kim Tae-ju could even suggest verification, the man with beard enthusiastically cut him off, declaring his unwavering belief. Kim Tae-ju looked dumbfounded, but the beaming man with beard reaffirmed his absolute trust, certain it was an amazing new medicine. His eyes sparkling, the man with beard, impressed by the potion, revived his plea for Kim Tae-ju to re-enlist, even offering to petition the emperor. Kim Tae-ju's body tensed, his frustration boiling over as he sharply told the man with beard to make up his mind. He slammed the potion box onto the table, fed up with the constant badgering about re-enlistment. His face contorted in raw fury, Kim Tae-ju threatened to erase their entire deal. 3 months later, the lively crowd erupted in cheers as the newly christened Taehong drug shop finally reopened its doors. The massive crowd surged forward with impatient eagerness, and one man worried he wouldn't even manage to buy a mosquito antidote. New banners proudly announced the release of 2 groundbreaking medicines, a spore poison antidote and a Taehong recovery potion, promising miraculous healing for mana and internal injuries. One man scoffed at the idea of a medicine healing both mana and internal injuries, deeming it utterly ridiculous, and another readily agreed with a skeptical grunt. Raid team leader Park Jin-soo tapped a skeptical man on the shoulder, confidently asserting the medicine's credibility and urging them to buy it quickly. The man, shocked, stammered a question about his identity, to which raid team leader Park Jin-soo replied with cool confidence. Proclaiming himself the first tester of the mosquito poison antidote, Park Jin-soo proudly boasted of being the man who propelled Kim Tae-ju into the spotlight. His jaw dropped in utter disbelief at the staggering 5 million won price. Inside the shop, raid team leader Park Jin-soo wildly gestured, demanding if the woman behind the counter was merely joking. With a sweet, unyielding smile, the woman calmly presented the official price list. The price list confirmed the staggering reality. The Taehong recovery potion cost 5 million won, dwarfing the prices of all other potent antidotes. Sweat beaded on his brow as he stared at the list, confirming the dreadful truth, then urgently asked if anyone had actually bought it yet. The woman cheerfully informed him he would be the very first, a revelation that left raid team leader Park Jin-soo wide-eyed with shock. His chest puffed out, Park Jin-soo, embracing his role as the first, proudly demanded the Taehong recovery potion. The warm, inviting interior of Taeju's house now set the scene. Baek Seo-yeon formally concluded her report to the attentively listening men. Kim Tae-ju beamed, immensely pleased that the expensive recovery potion had sold surprisingly well on its opening day. Baek Seo-yeon credited Pro Park Jin-soo for the sales success, an explanation that thoroughly surprised Kim Tae-ju. Grimy but enthusiastic, Park Jin-soo, the potion's first verifier, eagerly bought all of them, prompting a rush of sales despite the exorbitant price. He smiled contentedly, admitting his admiration for Park Jin-soo had led him to grant a special 20% discount. Baek Seo-yeon grew serious, realizing that even with increased factory production, their current setup would struggle to meet demand. Baek Seo-yeon explained their strategic need to acquire more stores, crucial for expanding medicine distribution and meeting future demand. Baek Seo-yeon confidently revealed their ample budget, generated by an astonishing 10 billion won from selling 1,000 antidote sets before official release. Baek Seo-yeon smiled gently, acknowledging Taeju's massive profits had crucially enabled them to accelerate their ambitious plans. Kim Tae-ju modestly waved off the praise, admitting he hadn't anticipated so many would pay 10 million won in advance either. Baek Seo-yeon, with determined confidence, outlined plans to recruit talent after expansion, emphasizing the immediate need for their own official positions. He chuckled with amused pride as Baek Seo-yeon announced her father would assume the prestigious role of chief financial officer. With self-assured pride, Baek Seo-yeon confidently declared herself the chief executive officer. Then came the final, shocking announcement: Tae-ju was to be the chairman, leaving him utterly speechless. He humbly accepted the chairmanship with a laugh, giving all credit to them for helping a man reject like him succeed, and asked for their continued support. Both Baek Seo-yeon and her father readily affirmed their enthusiastic and unwavering support for Kim Tae-ju. A sudden, insistent ring from the intercom announced an unexpected visitor. On the screen, a distressed young man, Park Jong-tae, urgently asked if Kim Tae-ju was present. The quiet, cool night had fallen over the modern residential building. Park Jong-tae stood, wide-eyed and shocked, as Kim Tae-ju calmly questioned his late-night appearance. Park Jong-tae bowed deeply, introducing himself as Nogadan's vice guild master, a name Kim Tae-ju calmly acknowledged from a previous encounter. Park Jong-tae prostrated himself, apologizing for past rudeness and desperately pleading for his guild master's life, as Kim Tae-ju calmly accepted and moved toward the car. Kim Tae-ju strode purposefully toward the dark sedan, every step filled with unspoken tension. He opened the car door to a grim sight: a sickly Lee Jung-hak lay inside, racked by harsh, rattling coughs. Lee Jung-hak gasped, confessing his past faults and desperately begging for a salvation no other medicine had managed to provide. Kim Tae-ju's voice was stern, demanding that if Lee Jung-hak truly desired to live, he must exit the car and humble himself. A desperate plea tore through the somber night, met only by Kim Tae-ju's silent, judging gaze. His body crackled with unseen torment as he desperately cried for salvation. Even the most potent elixirs had failed him, a grim truth Lee Jung-hak confessed with a despairing thud. Bathed in a cold, calculating glow, Kim Tae-ju weighed the value of a life against his own benefit. Blood trickled from his lips as Lee Jung-hak, desperate, offered himself as a weapon, a loyal sword. Kim Tae-ju's calm dismissal sent a scratchy wave of renewed panic through the pleading man. A subtle smirk played on Kim Tae-ju's lips as he offered a sliver of hope, contingent on a promise. Lee Jung-hak's eyes widened with desperate hope, his heart hammering with the sudden chance at life. Kim Tae-ju laid down his terms, demanding true vigilante duty, which Lee Jung-hak fervently vowed to uphold. Extending his hand, Kim Tae-ju privately acknowledged he would have saved him anyway, his conditions a mere formality. As his hand settled, Kim Tae-ju issued a chilling warning about the collapse of public safety and the protection of his cherished circle. Green energy pulsed from his hand, and Kim Tae-ju's voice turned deadly, promising to extinguish Lee Jung-hak's life again if he dared cross him. Flashbulbs clicked, echoing the congratulations showered upon Chairman Kim Tae-ju at the successful factory completion ceremony. Kim Tae-ju confidently outlined their production strategy, leaving unspoken the vast potential for future expansion beyond mere medicinal ingredients. His blunt refusal to consider outside investment was immediately followed by a probing question about the limited sales of their new medicines. While Kim Tae-ju calmly attributed the sales restrictions to regulatory hurdles, reporters immediately clamored for more, even demanding the recipe for world peace. Kim Tae-ju's expression hardened, demanding to know the reporter's identity and the true intent behind such a provocative question. Reporter Kang Du-cheol revealed his affiliation, framing his inquiry as concern for the public, though Kim Tae-ju instantly recognized Marini Group's familiar tactics. The reporter's suggestion for OEM production with Marini Group barely registered as Kim Tae-ju saw through the thinly veiled attempt to acquire his formula. The reporter stammered and sweated, caught off guard by Kim Tae-ju's direct accusation, struggling to backtrack his true intentions. Kim Tae-ju's grip tightened on the microphone as he decisively banned Yoon-ha Daily from future interviews, signaling more to come. Standing resolute, Kim Tae-ju boldly declared that even with the formula, only Taehong Bio possessed the unique ability to produce their groundbreaking medicines. Baek Seo-yeon offered her congratulations on the ceremony and expressed sincere regret for the press conference incident, fearing its impact on his first public appearance. Kim Tae-ju reassured Baek Seo-yeon, dismissing the incident as external meddling rather than a flaw in their strategy. Kim Tae-ju observed that their rivals resorted to petty tactics, while Baek Seo-yeon praised his firm and articulate response. Anticipating increased scrutiny from competitors, Kim Tae-ju shifted focus, eager for an update on the public's reception of their new medicines. Baek Seo-yeon subtly smiled, confirming she had just been immersed in the digital pulse of public opinion. Her screen buzzed with a whirlwind of reactions, from skepticism about the price to fervent testimonials of miraculous, life-saving recovery. Baek Seo-yeon confirmed the enthusiastic online buzz for the recovery medicine, bringing a visible sigh of relief to Kim Tae-ju, who noted the water deer antidote's similar success. Newspapers clamored with warnings about an impending water deer shortage, yet Baek Seo-yeon's chibi-like joy reflected their foresight in securing the precious ingredient. A confident smile graced Kim Tae-ju's face as he turned his attention to the next strategic hurdle, securing new sales outlets. Baek Seo-yeon, a faint sweat drop on her brow, revealed the surprising scarcity of available commercial properties in Guri. Her finger hovered over the tablet, indicating a singular, complicated exception to the barren real estate market. Kim Tae-ju leaned in, surprised, as Baek Seo-yeon revealed the properties belonged to the late Jo Hoon-suk, who died in a car accident. Kim Tae-ju questioned the unexpected sale, learning the family sought to liquidate the bankrupt pharmacies and leave Guri. Humming softly, Kim Tae-ju acknowledged the necessity of the purchase, then pondered their financial capacity to acquire them. Baek Seo-yeon clarified that while funding could be arranged, a tangled web of legal disputes posed a more significant challenge. Kim Tae-ju's eyebrows shot up, surprised, as Baek Seo-yeon elaborated on the bitter family squabble over ownership. He remained silent, his mind already formulating a solution to this unexpected complication. With a confident smirk, Kim Tae-ju instructed Baek Seo-yeon to seek out guild leader Lee Jong-hak of the Nogadan Guild. His assurance that Lee Jong-hak would kindly help with legal problems left Baek Seo-yeon utterly flabbergasted. Time blurred as Baek Seo-yeon privately wondered about Lee Jong-hak's sudden benevolence, though his intervention proved instrumental in securing 11 new stores. A network of 12 Taehong drug shops, including the main store, now efficiently distributed their products across the city. Just 3 products, from a modest mosquito antidote to a life-saving recovery medicine, formed the lucrative core of their burgeoning empire. Taehong Bio surged, exceeding 100 billion won in monthly sales, rapidly necessitating a second factory, an herb warehouse, and hundreds of new employees. The greatest strategic assets, however, were Baek Chang-hoon and Jang Suncheol, whose martial arts training now fueled their tireless, round-the-clock medicine production. One eerie night, as Jang Suncheol walked through Guri City's poor hillside village, a foreboding creaking filled the air. Jang Suncheol scanned the dimly lit streets, a growing confusion and unease etched on his face. A worried parent's plea to find their missing child echoed his own concern, as Jang Suncheol dismissed the idea of his robust colleague easily falling victim. His eyes snapped to the ground, a flash of recognition surprising him as he saw a lone sneaker. Jang Suncheol reached down, his hand grasping the familiar fabric from the darkened street. He knelt, holding the sneaker, a sentimental gift he had given, completely oblivious to the shadowy, red-eyed menace materializing behind him. A sudden, jarring impact surprised Jang Suncheol as a shadowy hand lashed out from behind him. The shadowy figure unleashed a devastating, penetrating force, sending Jang Suncheol reeling through the night air. Jang Suncheol retaliated, landing a powerful punch that sent black liquid splattering from the shadowy figure with a visceral crock. The sneaker, a poignant reminder of his search, spun helplessly through the air. Jang Suncheol stared in shocked pain at his torn jacket, bewildered by how his unseen assailant had landed such a blow. He sank into despair, realizing his strongest attack was futile, a chilling confirmation that his opponent was undeniably superior. Overwhelmed by fear, Zhang Sunqiao spun on his heels, his only thought to flee the impossible battle. An explosive impact detonated just behind him, intensifying Zhang Sunqiao's frantic escape. A clawed, shadowy hand stretched out, closing in on Zhang Sunqiao's wide-eyed, terrified face. Enshrouded in menacing red energy, the shadowy figure ominously questioned Zhang Sunqiao's futile attempt to escape.